Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's a Black Manga Critic. We are here with a rando stream. I don't know why I titled it "Shoot the Breeze." That sounds like something like Drake would title his like a song or an album, right? Shoot the breeze, and they have all these like soca beats and dancehall beats.
I like the title.
No, I mean, yeah, that's cool. I just thought about it, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. You know, we just kind of shooting the breeze, doing whatever. So people will come through. All of that will happen. But yeah, I think what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to start off just talking about like all that Drake stuff and everything like that. But we could talk about whatever. Like this is it's a whatever stream. So
I mean, if you want to, we talk about hip hop. I mean, it was brought up in a separate stream, South to Dustin and them. They brought it up about Offset and how he cheated on Cardi B.
Put that
video. Yeah, he put a like he was caught on video. Like there's factual evidence that he did it. And so in this recent week, he got her tattooed on his neck. I suppose as some sort of reconciliation.
Yeah, that's yo. Have you ever heard of that show? Was it Degrassi? I think it was called.
Yeah,
it was like like that. That's like that. That's the kind of thing you would hear on it. Just like, oh man, I gotta get like,
I messed up.
I gotta get her back, so I gotta do this super dramatic thing, and it's clearly like the wrong thing, and like that's like the whole. I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
Like, yeah, I understand you messed up, but like, if she leave you, then she might have got your back a little harder. And also BFC disclaimer real quick. I'm notorious for getting kicked out of hangouts. So if it happens, don't freak out. I'll be back immediately.
No, that's all right. Don't worry about it. I mean, I saw what happened. It happened with the last time we here with the Promised Neverland.
I know.
So it doesn't bother me.
It happened like 6 or 7 times during the stream, so I already didn't got one. So
yeah, it's weird.
It's like, I don't know because it's when you're on your phone.
Even then, like they should have that. They should fix that up. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
They should, but they don't care about little Virgo around the way.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Mugiwara Mappy, you wanna come through, man? You wanna talk about? We can do the rap stream right now if you wanna do that.
You wanna do a rap stream?
Yeah, man. I don't know if he's home.
You trying to spit some candy bars?
Candy bars? No. I'm not trying to spit no candy bars.
I'm just playing. Nah, man. That man OV get mad every time I say candy bars. He really believe I'm insulting him. He be like, "Why do you keep on saying that? What does that even mean?" I be like, "You trash." That's what it means. But I really don't think OV is trash. I'm just messing with him.
Nah, OV's cool. OV's cool, dude.
Because he sent me a song. They sent me a song of his, and it was actually pretty good.
No, yeah. Well, okay. So I heard that OV like he also does like music, right?
He does. Yeah, he has a song with Dustin.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Is that on SoundCloud?
I don't know what it's on. He just sent me a link to it, and it just automatically downloaded and played on my phone.
That's pretty cool. It's funny because like I remember when I was in high school. And, and it was the same. It wasn't the same thing because like we didn't really have money like that. You couldn't like go on SoundCloud.
Yeah, like, studio time and all that.
Yeah. Maybe they posted like a track on like MySpace or something like that.
Yeah.
Like when I was in high school, like MySpace was the thing.
Or Digital Drip.
Yep. Like they posted all their music on there. Yeah, it was funny as hell, man. But I had one friend that could actually he could spit. Like he could legitimately spit. This like the smallest dude, like in the shortest guy in the school. But he was just like eating dudes.
Shortest dude, but had the loudest bars.
Yep. Roger was
me, man. I never really I'll flow around. I'll mess around and joke around, but I am not a lyricist by any means. I am not. I don't consider myself good. I'm not even sure if I consider myself mediocre.
I don't know, man. I mean, the one thing I noticed is like and it's just I think artists in general, but but particularly like musicians or like people that do like anything music related, like the confidence is like sky high. You kind of have to
through the roof.
Like you have to have that, otherwise it's gonna be real difficult for you to maintain yourself while you're actually producing like garbage.
Because I mean, I don't believe there's a such thing as a timid rapper. There isn't really timid people. Okay, guys, I'll spit bars if you don't mind, if it's okay with you guys. Like,
That's true.
I don't really see too many dudes like that.
Even the timid, even like the timid dudes will like put on like a persona, something like that. You know, like
because they come into their little alter ego.
It's cool. I mean, like
it's like Beyonce. Like Beyonce has she become Sasha Fierce.
Yep. Like Beyonce is like who is it? Beyonce and also like Mariah. Like they like both of them are a little, like Mariah's a little more like intense, and sometimes people tell her, that she's a little nuts or whatever, like something like that.
I suppose, yeah.
I remember like when Nick Cannon in the interview, he was like, "Yo, Mariah is like the most super timid, nice, soft-spoken kind of like person." Like
I can kind of see that.
You know what I mean? It's weird. It's like when people get in the spotlight.
Give her a mic.
Yeah, they get the diva thing, or the
and then she can sing. She can't just sing, bro. She can sing.
Even now, she can still sing. She can't sing like she used to, obviously. But still.
But like she'll still blow your ears off, man. Like
yo,
she'll hit them notes.
Thanks, man. And if we look at just artists that are out now. You know what I mean? Like if we look at R&B singers,
R&B.
we could talk about that too.
What are you talking about? Like people like Kalani Parrish.
Yeah.
Or
Kalani. Who else? Who's another singer that's just like but not real good. Real good. I mean,
let me brainstorm here. Who?
Like real, like I mean, we're talking about singers that are out right now. Like who came out pretty recently.
I know. I'm thinking. Kalani was the first one to come to mind because she got a special place in my heart.
No, and it's not even like the music, like all around isn't like it's not bad. It's just it's not like who's
Are you saying it's like not purely vocal?
Yeah. I mean, like the vocals aren't as there as nearly as much as like like even now like Beyonce's vocals are still. Like whoa, like Beyonce's always been like a power singer.
Yeah, because like no matter like she can hop on any track and still always blow you away. Like yo, she's on this track.
Yeah, Jhené Aiko is very good.
Jhené Aiko.
This is very good. Who else?
I like Jhené Aiko a lot.
Jhené Aiko's real good, and I think she's actually severely underrated. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Like,
go ahead.
It's funny because like I got homies that like blast me if I put a song on of hers or something. They be like, "Hey, what you doing, man? What you on the vibe to that?" I be like, "Hey, yo, listen to these vocals, dog. Like, come on now." She wanted him like a sang, man.
It's true though. And that's the thing, right? It's like when you try to introduce like friends or even just like people to different like
it's an awkward setting. It's an awkward setting introducing to the just a music that is purely for vocal point. If it isn't like turn up, or if it isn't like gangster stuff like that, like if it isn't like that, they'd be like, "Yo, come listen to these vocals, man," and they just be like, "What?" Like, so Russell Westbrook, man, y'all tripping.
Yo, green hoodie, everything.
What are you doing?
I was listening to like a few weeks ago, and not I mean like I was like before maybe like a few like weeks ago, like I was listening to one of Brandy's albums non-stop, man. And it's like this is gonna make me sad because people don't know about like people don't even realize that Brandy was like legit.
Exactly. Most of these people know Brandy from her freaking television show.
Yeah, like people know, but like Moesha, people be like, yo, that's Moesha. Like Brandy's not her name, that's Moesha.
Exactly, that's Moesha.
Oh man. Hey yo, and I get it because like Moesha was a
we also just dated ourselves.
Oh yeah, you got and you know what? After a certain point, I just stopped caring. I was like, yo, I'm gonna be my age. I
get that question, especially in the community. They be like, how old are you, Virgo? 25. Anything else?
Exactly. You just keep moving. You know, it
doesn't affect me. Like, why would I try to hide my age? I mean,
exactly.
Especially black folk, because we age well.
Yeah.
I'm just like, go ahead. Black is very sweeter than juice. I'm all good.
Like I'm gonna look like this until I'm probably like
45.
I don't know, 39, 40. I'm probably gonna look like this on 40, honestly.
For real, yeah, we really will, bro. Like, you don't know what I look like. All they know is my little Virgo picture. I ain't gonna reveal it just yet because my room dirty. But
no, it's cool, man. It's cool.
Actually, some people do know what I look like. Actually, because there's sometimes I get on Hangouts and actually forget to turn the camera off.
Oh no, like,
so exactly, like people like Smokey over in Dustin Discord. Like, that man got a picture of me. Because everybody like a screenshot.
Yo, that was like I didn't really know that people were doing that until like 2 years ago. Like people are really like out here, you know, waiting, like holding like the screenshot buttons
for that one moment.
Yeah,
for that one moment.
It coming, man.
It's like when OV revealed his face. They was like, "Oh my god!"
Yo, I was not expecting that at all.
Nobody was
at all. I was like, "Yo, OV, where the modeling contract?" I was about to go to America's Next Top Model. You about to talk to Tyra Banks.
Yeah, but, hey, OV's subscribers doubled.
Yo, facts. And I mean, he should probably just do more videos, like straight. Like he probably should. But I mean,
he's not going to. I mean, his thing. He's the master editor.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, what's up, Edric?
Yo, what is good?
Yo, who's here? Yeah,
I see you've changed your picture.
Nah, bro, my other account is like fucking up. It won't show my picture. Oh, my bad. BMC, can we cuss on this?
His other account was chucking up.
Like, is it cool if we cuss, or do we gotta keep it censored?
How you gonna ask that on stream?
Nah, it's weird because like this is a conversation where I'm not sure. Like even I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure for future reference.
We're shooting the breeze. We're just shooting the breeze.
Oh no! Oh, you know what? Nah. Because if I do it now, then I'm gonna be like every stream.
And then every shooting the breeze stream is gonna be like, all right, let them loose.
Okay, got you. I just want to make sure.
BMC knows how I talk, and he knows he gonna hear a bomb every other sentence.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's like people gonna slip because like I swear all the time. You know, when I'm just chilling.
It's part of your day-to-day
because you're a freaking human being.
You know, like unless I'm like in a certain setting, then I just I switch. Like if I'm in like a classroom, I switch. Like if I'm in a meeting, I switch. You know, stuff like that.
Oh, by the way,
that's called being a professional.
On my channel.
Yeah. Wait, what happened?
By the way, the series that I have a picture of is a series I'm gonna review on my channel. Expect that shit in February.
First of all, I'm upset off rip because I did not know you had a channel.
Oh no, it's coming in February, dog. It's still in progress.
Oh, all right.
Like it's just whatever you look at the channel now is just kind of still getting set up.
I got you. No, I was acting a fool. In the chat. I was telling everybody subscribe to me, even though I don't have any videos.
No, fam, you gotta have some workout.
Like, no, I'm going to. Everybody keep telling me to make videos, but like, I feel like it'll be a commitment. It'd be fun. I mean, I wouldn't mind just having like discussion videos with y'all.
I'm just trying to learn about the editing software for the reviews, bro.
Like, talk to OV, dog.
But I don't know if OV going with like a 0 subscriber dude like me, bro. Gotta pay for them services.
Dog, I'm sure he would help. OV's not that kind of guy. He's good people's.
No, yeah. When
He's
I
not
started,
that kind of person.
what you call it? He was like, yo, we got you. Like when I started talking with Dustin and everybody else, and I think at that point I had like 30-something subscribers. He was like, yo, if you ever need any help, yo, we got you, fam. And I was like that to me was like, that was important because
he's a genuine guy.
Yeah. So yo, if you want to ask, go for it, man.
Yeah, bro, I'll see if he'll put me on for the next class.
Bro, like everybody want to think like just because people get more subscribers and they've hit kind of the big time, like I
mean, honestly, I just want to.
I thought I timed out.
That's cool.
But like, there's really good people in the community. There really is. And Dustin's one of them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten to meet y'all if it wasn't for Dustin just having random open streams.
Yeah, Dustin's the GOAT, bro.
Which was really dope to me because like I always checked out people's videos, but like you want to come talk? Like, oh, bet I'm loud as hell on my way. I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, I mean, I like that he has like an open platform, dog. He lets everybody kind of get their
no matter who.
Exactly.
True.
All right, but this ain't a praise Dustin stream because screw him.
What were we talking about? We were talking about
I heard y'all talking about.
We were talking about up and coming R&B artists and talking to your buddies about actually trying to listen to them without sounding sus.
And the thing, so for me, I don't worry about that because one, most, at least, well, I won't say most people, but most people that are particularly close to me, like they know I'm bi, so I'm not sus because I'm
that's the
I'm
life
good.
you live. How are you?
You know what I mean? So it's like
I know.
Yeah,
I know, but like everything, I know, but like I know like, that's dope, but like, but everything that like single men say this question is annoying.
It is.
I mean, but it's kind of like,
it's annoying. Everything we do is like annoying. I mean, I say everything we do is annoying. I'm going to say everything we do that's questioned is annoying. Why you want to do this? Why you want to do this? Can I not just show you this song? Can I not just show you these lyrics?
I mean,
like,
one thing I don't understand.
Problem?
One thing I don't understand is like why like straight males are all expected to fall under one specific demographic.
Correct.
Like I just feel like since the core base of what a straight male is always gonna be the same, but the shit that you're into and like how you portray yourself in public, that's different, bro. I just don't see why we're like forced to be put in like some type of box.
When you say box, you mean like you could only like these things, or you could only
yes,
exactly. Like I've had people tell me
you're only like they put you in a certain tier, and if you go above said tier, you're like bashed.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, like
I'm Hispanic, and like dudes who dance, bro, like are seen like, oh, bro, if you dance, you're sus. Why?
Yo, same.
It's culture, dog. It's culture.
Wait, for real?
No, yeah. I mean,
dudes will try to like play you like sus, and they'll call you like Latin lover and stuff like that. Like bro.
I'm saying like because like you can dance. I'm sorry, this is actually new to me.
Nah, it's an old. It's
like
older,
it's bachata and stuff like that, bro. Like Spanish dances.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about like salsa and bachata and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like because you know how to dance and you moving your hips, you seen the sus, bro. Like it's weird to me.
That's
just like part of my culture. So
I mean, like, it sounds like you're being bashed for having rhythm.
Yeah,
exactly. That's weird.
And that's the thing. I mean, like, it took a long time. Like, I remember when I was like, it was different, right? Because like, and part of it depends on where you grew up. So like, me, like, I grew up in New York City. House Queens. That's where I grew up. So most dudes like could dance right in certain styles, right? Like you dance like hip hop.
Really rock on every block.
Yeah, you was Harlem Shaking. You was doing on Jackie. You was doing all these like dance, right? You was thugging. You were doing all of that, right? You was Chicken Noodle Soup in it. You know what I mean? Like
you remember that?
Yo,
I said Chicken Noodle Soup.
Hey, yo, the dudes in the '90s used to wear like crop tops, dog, and that was considered straight, bro. Yo,
Hey,
the
that was
times
all
have
good, bro.
changed.
You see niggas like
Yeah,
Eddie
back in the
Murphy
day.
rocking that shit all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think back then, like, people were just like more secure in like their masculinity. I think the main reason why people were insecure in their masculinity is because they'd never been introduced to like the gay community, so that kind of puts them on edge and they start questioning themselves, bro.
Hmm.
Like, if you really think about it, I'm not gonna say that that's the case for everybody, but I think that that is an issue.
No, yeah, because it's like it took it took a long time for me just to come out to people, and then but before that it was like I would just dance like by myself, like in my parents' like tiny apartment, just to do that, because like I love dancing, but I couldn't do it in front of people because like like certain things like I was doing I was dancing like to everything, you know what I mean?
And that's
like,
a terrible thing about like society. They just want to bash you for any little thing they can get leverage on to bash you with. They're going to grab that and they're just going to go full reign with it, and it's terrible.
I mean, but we do live in the era of discreditation, where if you're not discrediting somebody, you're not real.
And that's messed up.
It is.
Like straight up, like, oh, you don't see a problem with that? Well, if you don't see a problem with that, then I can't mess with you.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I do think that like, it's something that like you can do, but I do think that like, right, things are complicated, and not everyone has the ability to say or critique or or whatever, or like people like in the spaces that they're in, right? So like sometimes, right, like sometimes let's say you might be at work and you see something happen, right? And it's like you have to figure out how to call someone out on the nonsense that they just pulled without losing your job, right? So like, and this is just one situation where
so you basically walking on eggshells.
Yeah, like where you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Like even me, right? It's like let's say I recently left my doctoral program because like it didn't make any sense to continue doing the doctoral program and wanted to be a school teacher because they don't really mix. Like you need like a particular degree in education to like get your teaching license and then get a job and everything like that. So it was like I'm not gonna waste my time for like another like 5 more years, trying to get this degree and then leave and then not get a job. But that's neither here nor there, right? The sort of the point that I'm trying to make is like even in like a space like that, like you have to be on extras. Like for me, like the graduate school that I was going to was like super radical. It's pretty radical when compared to other like grad schools, right? In English, but you got to walk on your toes. You got to be careful. Let's say if there's a professor who's super famous, all the grad students want to work with that person, but that professor is like extremely problematic and might be a little racist and might be a little you know what I mean? Like you got to be careful because there are so many ways that professors like that
freaking hangouts.
Can like screw with you.
Oh yeah, he just got booted.
I mean, he's gonna come back.
Yeah, I'm back. That
all right, cool.
Foolishness.
But it's like, yo, there was an instance where this one student at a grad program. Actually, I think it's a public thing, but I'm gonna try to look for the link and post it. But like this one student had worked with a professor, and she was writing her dissertation. And the professor basically was like, oh, no, you got to rewrite this chapter. This chapter doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not really feeling this chapter. And then maybe like a few weeks later or something like that, or like a little bit later, found out that her professor had basically stolen the work that she had written in that chapter and published that as his stuff. And it's like, and then she was being ostracized for calling him out on it. It's like this, and you know what I mean? And like when you hear that, you're like, huh? But it's like this is.
I mean, but that happens all the time. A lot of these teachers are riding off of their coattails.
Yep. And you hear this
all
the time, and it's like,
but it's kind of expected.
And it's sad because it's like some people don't get that you have to worry about like, your own safety and your own
your well-being,
financial security and stuff like that. You have to worry about that stuff, because if you like, some people like do not have like 5 sources of income, or the job that's netting them like 100K plus,
6 figures,
100,000 K, 100K like annually or anything like that. Like they might have a one job, and if they lose that one job, like they're gonna be homeless within like a month.
Yeah, some people still getting it out the mud.
So for me, like I think one thing I do try to think about is like, if I'm talking about a particular thing, like, okay, like yeah, I'm talking about it, but like let's say like when I had that conversation with Musashi, like maybe like a month ago or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about how he didn't like that people would call him like that, like if people called him cracker. And it's like, so for me, initially I was like, wait, I don't understand. Like, it's like, dude, you gotta understand, like, this is how certain, like you gotta understand like the implications behind that particular word and da da da. And then he was like, oh, but like, he's talking about his personal experience with it and how people used to like, bully him, and he took it like, super far and stuff like that. And like, that's the kind of stuff for me that allows me to say, okay, like in this situation, right? Like I have to show a certain level of empathy, because it's like, I don't want people to be like bullied or like, jumped or anything like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I also have to say like, hey, yo,
there's levels. I agree with what you're saying, but there are levels. Like sometimes I believe that in this society, there are times where we get too sensitive.
I mean,
you don't believe so?
I don't.
That there are times when that happens.
I mean, I will say that, but I think like one, it depends on whatever sort of like, you have
to have context to the situation.
Yeah, you gotta have context, right? But I also think that like, for me, it's not even so much about like sensitivity, because I believe that people, right? Like obviously, right? Like I think people have a right to feel a certain way when someone is like approaching them in a certain way, or like in some type of way or whatever. But I do agree that like, there are ways to like approach that, like, you know what I mean? Like I do think like there are ways, like, depending on the space that you're in, whatever. I don't think that's like, it's like, you can't, go around like, screaming at the top of your lungs in particular spaces, and like, like I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about that, I guess.
Hey, so like a while back, there were some college students. Like they like took over the whole high school. I don't know if you remember. They took over the whole high school.
Oh, was that the guy who went on it was a black guy, I think.
No, I think it was like a white dude who said he wants to hire the teachers based on qualifications instead of just having diversity for the teachers alone. It should just be on like the teachers' qualifications. Then they like went on a riot about it. I didn't disagree with the guy, honestly. I'm all for, equality and diversity, but at a job, you got to think about qualifications first. If the black guy's the most qualified person for the job, that's who you pick. If it's the white guy, listen, bro, I mean, I get it's unfair since there's more white people here, but that's just how it's going to have to be.
I mean, look, like, okay, so I guess the way that I would sort of approach that is like, sometimes I think what bothers me is it's almost as if people don't get, and I think this happens often more so with like with people of color, right? Where people assume that they don't understand like that, even like yeah, like we get, right? Like we get that qualifications are important, right? Some people like I think you guys understand it too, right? Like, but like a lot of people, and I see this all the time, like people don't get like that. Yes, we understand that, but we also understand that there are very much so shady hiring practices all over America. You know what I mean? Like we understand it, and like that affects the application, like the applicant pool, right? Like so for me, like it's like, yes, qualifications matter. Like no one's gonna hire you. Well, not no one, but like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be hired, right? Like no one's gonna hire a doctor that doesn't know how to do the thing that they're supposed to do. Exactly. Right? That doesn't make any sense. So I totally understand that, and I'm all about that. At the same time, we also have to understand that there are like levels to it, right? That there are like right, like there are certain steps that all people have to take to get to even just get to apply for a particular job, and that there are things that are in the way, and that those things that are in the way, generally, right, specifically affect, for the most part, people of color. Like this is a thing. You know what I mean?
No, I
It's
agree
like,
with that.
You know, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. But I understand what you're saying. Like it's like for me, like I get it, but I think that sometimes what people will do is that they'll shift their language so that some conversation that is actually way more complicated and nuanced, right? Like they'll shift it so that a conversation that is more complicated and nuanced becomes something that like something almost completely
and oversimplify
it. Yeah, and you know, and for me, it bothers me. But I'm not gonna like, you know, go around like yelling like in people's faces and like spitting in their face. Like I'm not gonna do that because.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a right way to approach a situation, there's a wrong way to approach the situation. And that's why I was touching on the fact that, like, you know, some people are too sensitive. If you're too sensitive to have the conversation that could lead to understanding in the first place, then you're kind of messing up, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like there's like you have to, especially when you have sort of entered a space that's like, here's how we're gonna have this conversation, right? So like for me, like I can't remember what it was, but I can't for the life of me, I can't remember what it was, but it was a situation in which, like, you know, it was a video that I was watching, and this guy came into the conversation and was just like way too
aggressive,
you know, hype, way too aggressive, he was, you know, way too loud. And it's just like, yo, the moderator has told you, right, and it's told everyone else on the panel that you have to keep composed in a certain way, right? And then you doing this for like 20 something minutes, right? And then you're mad that someone's checking you because you're doing a thing that you're not supposed to be doing, right? Even if your arguments make sense, it doesn't mean that people don't acknowledge that your argument makes sense. It's just that the way that you're presenting yourself in this particular space, right, with regards to the parameters that were set for that space, like you looking ridiculous right now. You know,
and honestly, if you're trying to get your point across in an angry manner, people aren't going to focus on your point. They're going to focus on your demeanor in the first place. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. And I mean, and right. And like, I would say that I think, like, you know, for me, the way I sort of look at it is like, if there are certain spaces, right? Like if you're at like a protest or something like that, you know, then like, yo, someone's angry and they yelling, like, I'm not going to get on somebody who's like protesting, you know, I'm not gonna get like on a woman that's like protesting women's rights at a protest and like is like loud, because it's like, yo, if they're not loud, no one is going to hear what that person is saying. Like it's like, unless they're in front of a mic or something like that, you know. So
that's like that's a protest. That's different than like having a discussion or conversation.
Like I guess what I'm saying is that like there are situations where people will try to place that ideal onto a situation that it doesn't really fit into, right? So some people will be like, yo, why are these women so loud, man? Why are they so loud? Why are they approaching me like, you know, like loudly and da 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 da? I'm like, yo, it's a protest. Like they're protesting this thing, and like, if you don't agree with the thing that all these women are protesting against, like, what do you expect is going to happen to you, man? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
you're
stuff
gonna
like
get crucified.
That. You know, like, come on, like you can't do that. Like you can't. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of how I see it. Like I'm always trying to sort of say like, here are these situations, but I also understand what you're saying is like, yo, like there are also other spaces where it's like, yo, if you approach something in a particular way, right? Like if I'm at, let's say if I was at like a talk, right? Like in my at my former like doctoral program, and there was like a talk and like you know, it was a panel. Like if I started going, yeah, you know, like if I started like going like, you know,
it doesn't mix.
Ridiculous, they'd be like, yo, what are you doing? Like, yeah, you might be right, but like you're making the program, like you're making the program look bad, da, da, da. You know what I mean? It's just like certain things just do not fly in particular spaces.
Context is everything.
Yeah, like some people get that and will conduct themselves accordingly, and then and other people, you know, for whatever reason, like main don't get that, and it's like like you have to understand that that different spaces exist, and that in those different spaces, like you have to act in a particular way. And like while I wish that, like, yes, do I wish that someone could be like, pick a sign, protest a talk or something like that or whatever, certain things like in certain spaces, sure, but in some instances you can't. And it's sad. Like for me, like I wish like that was a thing. Like I wish like, police didn't like tackle somebody, for like holding up a sign and like speaking their mind on an issue like in like a city council meeting or something like that, or a city hall meeting or something like that. Like, and I want those things to change. But you can't be surprised when, let's say, like security is like, yo, you got to leave. Like you can't be surprised when security is like, yo, someone, who's hired me has told me that I have to tell you that you have to leave. Like you can't blame the security guard.
He's just fulfilling a job.
Doing that job, right? Like, I mean, tackling someone down, like I was like, yo, like chill, right? It doesn't have to go that far, like unless like it's real ridiculous.
Now, if they've asked you to leave several times and you're telling them no to get tackled, that's a whole nother thing.
Then it's like, we have to deal with you. Let's get another security guard. Let's escort this person out. Like, then I totally understand that. I'm like, yo, you gotta go.
You got mad warnings, yo.
So in that sense, I get. Like I do think that like there are instances where, definitely like security guards will go too far. Police people or police people will go too far and stuff like that. But like I said, like you have to think about.
Yo, I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go though.
What happened?
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry. I'll catch y'all on a later note.
All right, man.
Hey, have fun in Wisconsin, dog.
But like I said, like anybody else want to join the chat? If you want to join the chat, feel free. What was I gonna say? I wanted to get back to like when we were talking about Brandy. It's just like kind of like R&B singers and stuff like that, and like I don't know, like the thing for me, like I was listening to Brandy's what's the album? That Never Say Never. If any of y'all have ever heard listen to that album, it's got a bunch of tracks on. Let me pull it up because y'all might recognize like the discography, but maybe not the actual title of the album. Give me a sec. I'm gonna what you call it? Can you link Somber, can you link your channel in the chat?
Oh no, I can't do that yet, bro. I'm waiting till it's ready.
Okay. All right, then do you have a Twitter? Do you have Twitter yet?
Nah, I don't even have Twitter or Instagram. I have a Facebook I don't even use, bro.
All right. So when you do, just let me know when the channel's up and everything like that, just like, Yeah,
I just don't want to put out like an unfinished product.
I got you. Well, let me pull this up. But that's kind of me for a minute.
No, hey, but I appreciate the sentiment, bro.
It's cool, man. Don't worry about it. Like once you got everything set up, because Tom-san was asking about it. Tom, shouts out to Tom. Tom's one of those dudes. Yeah, Tom is like facts, Tom. If you ever thought about doing like PR work or like stuff like that, where you just like bring like YouTubers together and like and do all that stuff, you're killing the game right now, man. I'm pretty sure that most YouTubers and subscribers and certain people like that are in like sort of this like particular community like know who you are. You know what I mean? So shout out to Tom-san, the PR agent for this community. But let me pull up Brandy's album, because like this is one of those albums that like if you right, and this is another thing, right? Like if you let people define your sense of what it means to be like masculine, then you would never listen to a Brandy album. You never you never like go like, yo, man, I love that Adele. You know what I mean? Like you never be able to do those things. You never be able to just like sit at home and just vibe to some greatness. Let me just like pull up this track listing because there's some.
I get what you're saying. Those aren't the examples that I would use, but I definitely get what you're saying.
Nah, you know what I mean? Like it's like so I'm just kind of using examples like for me, but like you know what I mean? But yeah, I got you. And like let me look at this track listing. So some of these songs, like maybe people might not know, hopefully people do know, but if people don't know, all right. But like oh man. So like there's one song that came Top of the World featuring Mace. That was like a banger. Like that was a song that everybody loved like in the 90s. The Boy Is Mine. How you like if you don't know that song, The Boy Is Mine, the duet with Monica, that's like, yo, come on. If you don't know that song,
yeah, I don't listen to Brandy, but I even know that song.
You know what I mean? Like it's like even like you're like right, even if you don't listen to Brandy like that, you know that song, right? And like every song on this album is just as good as that song. You know what I mean? Like this is like a classic album. Like right, like remember what you call it? Like when Joe Budden was still on Everyday Struggle, and they were having those discussions about like what it means to be like a classic album. You know, and like for me, like every song on this album is fire. You know what I mean? Like every song. Like there were 15 songs. So there's an intro, but that's not very long. That doesn't really count as a song because it's like 49 seconds. But like everything on this album is fire. Every song is fire.
But don't you believe that like the enjoyment of music is kind of subjective? Because I personally feel that Because of the Internet by Childish Gambino is a great album, but not everybody would think that way.
That's true. I do understand. I do understand what you're saying. It's like, right, like, you know, especially with music, like music is like incredibly, I think it's incredibly subjective, right? But I do think that, right, there's a way in which, right, like people, you know, have been, in some ways, right, like programmed to believe, like, you know, like to an extent, right? Because I do think there's like something that goes farther than the program. Like when you hear a song that's just like, whoa, right? And it just kind of goes above like, oh no, I not only am I supposed to love that song, but like even if I wasn't, like I'd be like right, like it's just amazing.
Like, you know, great music transcends.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think there are tracks on like Because of the Internet that like to me like transcend, right? Like they transcend let's say like the
Zilla to Stockholm,
yeah.
The
you know what I mean? Like, you know, like they just damn, like you just like, man. And like even like people who aren't into rap, right? Like are like, yo, I gotta listen to this. I gotta listen to this album. Right? Like Because the Internet I think is like one of those it's one of those albums. Yo, Jordan Williams, please do.
Hey, can I read off the track list for that?
Yeah, yo, go ahead. And then I'm gonna read off the track list for
the Brandy joint after.
But go ahead, man.
Yeah, so you got the Library intro. It's only 4 seconds, so that doesn't count. But you got Crawl, World Star, Worst Guys, Shadows is a good one. Telegraph Ave, Sweatpants, 305.
Yeah.
The Party, No Exit. I love No Exit. Death by Numbers, Flight of the Navigator, Zealots of Stockholm, Earn, Pink Toes, Earth the Oldest Computer, and my favorite song on the whole album, Life the Biggest Troll.
Yo, fire songs, man. I mean, like legitimately. And I remember when I remember like this, like when I heard because I think what was the first single? Was it Sweatpants? Was like did Sweatpants come out before 2005?
It was 3005, and then after that you had World Star, I think.
Okay, World Star. Okay. Yeah, and like I was like, yo, I was like, where'd this come from? Like I was looking around, like who is this? Whose man's is this? Like that, like that's the kind of reaction, right? Like the like music that like transcends that like
And the
built-in kind of
whole
stuff. You know what I mean?
the whole sound on the album is unique. Like it embodies what the album is called. Like the whole sound is amazing.
Yep. And that's the thing, and that's another thing to me too, right? Like, I think too often, like producers don't get the love that they deserve. Like so many artists, and that's not to say like right, like that, like the producer like is like the end all be all, but I will say that like for a lot of artists, like some artists, like when they get like when they came together with a particular producer, like that was it, right? Like when MJ got together with Quincy Jones for like how many albums? Like just fire albums, right? Like I'm pretty sure, right? Like I'm pretty sure he was on for Off the Wall, Thriller. But I believe he was still on for Bad, but I'm not sure. Like I can't be sure, but I believe so. Just like thinking about the songs in there, like those songs are definitely like they got the Quincy Jones vibe on it. And then like and then when he shifted to sort of like a more 90s sound, he shifted to Teddy Riley, and he was working with him. And like Teddy Riley basically like revived MJ in a certain way, right? Like other artists were coming through. Other artists were like, yo, I'm trying to take MJ's spot. And then he switched to another producer, and it was just like, sorry, like still here. You know what I mean? Like producers, yo, producers, man. Like I can't. Like Kanye has built so many.
Hey, so I ended up looking it up. There's a total of 20 songs where it's Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson.
Yep. And
Billie Jean, Rock With You, Beat It, We Are the World, Baby Come to Me, Man in the Mirror, The Girl Is Mine, The Way You Make Me Feel, It's My Party, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, I'll Be Good to You, Bad, Dirty Diana, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Give Me the Night, You Don't Own Me, Wanna Be Starting Something, Strawberry Letter 23, Thriller, and She's a Fool.
Yep. I mean, bruh, look like this is what I'm talking about. It's like people like there are people who have no and this is not to say that because I'm gonna rephrase this and this is not to say that if you don't know certain things then you are then you don't know about music, screw your opinion, no. What I'm saying is people genuinely have no clue, right? Or don't even bother to look into some of that stuff, right?
It's just lack of education.
And it's this cool. Yo, Jordan, what's good, man?
Hey, #1 Luffy hater in the building.
Yo.
I think he's got himself muted or something.
All right. Well, all right. When you got the mic and everything fixed, Jordan, just give a shout out. But and also who is it? Really Kendrick. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure Ninth worked with a lot of TDE. I feel like Ninth is the Ninth Wonder is he's been doing stuff way back. I mean, he's worked with Kanye, a whole bunch of other artists. But I mean, Ninth, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure he was one of the main sort of producers on To Pimp a Butterfly, which I feel like we should have a conversation about that too, because
I love the album. I hate that it doesn't get the respect it deserves.
I don't understand it. I mean, well, I do, right? I understand it, but I don't like it.
People don't hype it up because they can't party to it, because it's some conscious shit that you actually have to listen to. That's the same reason that people don't like the 444 album by Jay-Z, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love that album. To me, it wasn't whoa, this is like an incredible album. In terms of like sound, but what I will say is that it's an important album because it's one of those albums that like legitimately tries to impart very distinct messages in a very straightforward way, right? Like it's like, and like even if you're thinking about like a lot of like conscious rappers, right? And like I'll just rattle off the names, like like think about Common, Black Thought, right? Like the Roots, old Kanye, Most Def, Talib, Lupe, like you know what I mean? Like when you think about all these artists, Tupac, like Pac, of course. When you think about all these sort of like rappers, it's like yes, like they're amazing and they say particular things and it's very great. But at the same time, like I think Jay's 444 is like yo,
it's conscious and to the point.
Yeah, like it's like this. Like I'm writing an essay here in bars. Like it's like that. That's different.
Hey BMC, I think I could hear Jordan. Yo, Jordan, speak
Jordan.
up, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, he's here. Yeah, you good, bro? You sound good.
Okay, good.
Yo, what's going on, Jordan?
Not much, man. Doing my off day. That's about
Nice.
it. Shuffle.
Nice. Man. What happened?
What was the album y'all talking about? I heard 444. What was the other album?
Yeah, we were talking about we talking about like
To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick too.
Oh, okay, gotcha, okay.
Like underrated albums that people say that they don't have replay value. Shout out to Brago Streams.
Oh, okay.
Facts.
Like to me, it's any album that people just can't party to nowadays. Let me think.
I mean, I just feel like if people like everything has to be a party record. That's why we got so many Skittles rappers.
Skittles.
That's what they look like, bro. They got all the colors, fam. All of
them. I just go off of Joe Budden, call them the Littles. I say they all the Littles. That's why I just call them everybody.
Yeah, everybody got a little something in their name.
No, yeah. I mean, like the thing that like when Joe Budden was getting on Lil Yachty.
But I mean, Lil Yachty's different because he's not ignorant. That's why I like Lil Yachty. I don't like his music, but I like his demeanor.
No, like his demeanor is cool to me.
I can respect that. I can respect that, but
yeah, I don't like his music, but I like his demeanor. I like how the man carries himself in public.
You know, he was like, and I think the thing, like, I like, and if Joe had approached it, right, like if Joe had approached him in the same way that he approached, like Jordan Lucas, right, when he came in and he was trying to like explain to him, look, this is the industry, people are gonna play you, da 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 da, they're gonna lie to your face, they're gonna do all this stuff, you know what I mean, like they're looking to use you, right, like, and he did that calmly. He was like, okay.
But he doesn't like Yachty, so he doesn't want to give Yachty a good advice.
You know, go
ahead, Jordan. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say what that he actually gave great advice. It's just
the way he delivered the advice is the issue.
Right, his delivery was trash. Like he just said, like in the episodes, he always says like it was trash, but he was saying some real stuff to Yachty. Like he was trying to get him on game, but he just has some ass delivery. Like, it was just a bad way to tell somebody stuff.
You know, and like, and we were talking about that earlier. It's like when you, right, if you approach something, like from the jump, like that, and you know, and people also were saying like, yo, like this, you know, Joe was kind of trying to say, oh, it was, you know, this is the first like real interview, da 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 da. I'm like, come on, Joe, like, how old are you? You like what, 38, 30, you know, something like that. Like you've never watched an interview ever. You never like. You didn't try to prepare and say like, hey, maybe I shouldn't like, you know, scream at the person that I'm interviewing. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like he acted like Hitler.
He was full Joe. He was full Joe Budden, and like, granted, it was great. I mean, it was great for the show. Like it was great stuff and got a lot of publicity, but like you can tell, like he was doing all that, and he was full 100% Joe Budden.
Yeah,
and like. It was great, but at the same time, like he could have said it different way. I know me personally, like I let people tell me stuff just in a way that's respectful, not just you barking on me for like for a whole hour. Like, don't just bark at me and tell me I do so, because then I ain't going to listen. I'm thinking just either one mad about something or you hating. You try to tell me some advice or something like that. So.
I mean, but the vast majority of the time, Joe was unprepared. I don't think it was just with the Yachty interview.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah, it's like the first 4 months he was unprepared. The first 4 months.
Hey, but if you notice, he was only unprepared with rap artists that he didn't really care about.
Mm-hmm. Like when Wale came, he was like, "Yo," he was like, "This is my best friend, man. What's good?"
That's
like he was.
You know what? Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. Cause
I mean,
even with Safari, he was ready. He knew the man's catalog. Come on, bro, Safari. Come on.
I'm like, yo, I know I'm not looking out for Safari to drop anything.
I'm trying to defend him, man. I'm trying to defend him, but yeah, I'm trying to defend Joe Budden. But yeah, you right. Not think about it. He really did not fuck with none of the little niggas.
Yeah, Joe's low key an industry plant. I still listen to his podcast though. He has good points from time to time.
Yeah, and it's like I get that Joe is trying to sort of like exhibit like a that's what I'm looking for. Man, what's I can't think of it. Like this is like it just flew right out of my head.
Well, like a certain stance on certain rappers, like not giving them the respect.
Not even that. Like wait, what's that?
I know the thing about like gatekeeper, kind of like someone like a gatekeeper, like an old hip hop head that's trying to, I guess,
kind of close to the old hip hop head, but like he like authenticity. That's what I want to say, right? Like that's his thing. Like his thing is like, yo man, yo straight's better. Like you know what I mean? Like, he's just like, I'm honest, da da da. But like he's always trying. Like everything about him is. And this is what he tries to present is like, I'm authentic. I'm saying how I feel, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, like, stop lying. You know what I mean? Like, we know you lying. Like, because if you were truly authentic and you truly, like, said every, right, and every topic that was brought up on, like, Everyday Struggle or the Joe Budden podcast, like, if you were truly, truly honest about certain things, then you'd be talking about all of the, like, nonsense that you pulled. You know what I mean? And you'd be honest about all the nonsense that you've done. But you're not. Like a lot of times what happens with Joe, and it's not to say, right, like that Joe doesn't ever say anything that makes sense or is on point or is right or anything like that, right? It's just like Joe would have you believe, right? Like Joe would have you believe that he's all about like making the world a better place and making sure that people aren't lying, da, da, da. And I'm like, yo, Joe, like you like he would have you believe that he's like Gandhi or something, like he's like the rap Gandhi or something like that, or whatever. And it's like, yo, you ain't above nobody else.
Oh no, I think that Bob problem again. Like I said, I think it's more so his delivery was just ass. Like for me, again, what I got from Joe watching the show, like it was just an old hip hop head that had some very bad delivery that would be on that. Like, I mean, he did too. Like he never really. I won't say he didn't talk about his past. He did mention it a couple of times, but I mean, I wasn't trying to go there for his past. I mean, we all know about Joe Budden, so if you don't know about it,
hey, yo, am I the only one who actually vibes with academics and feels like academics actually has some star power?
No, I mean, yes, I think he definitely has star power. And I think the thing that bothers me too, right, is like, and I've seen this. Remember when do y'all remember I feel like we talked about, like, I think I talked about this. I can't remember what stream it was, but I feel like maybe we talked about this. And in the Reverie Part 3, and Chibi was sort of debating. I wouldn't even call it a debate because Chibi was like, it was just spitting facts. And I don't know what King of Light
Cracker versus Hody.
Hody, and I was like, yo, Hody is like, clearly he's a better character than Cracker. Like clearly he's more substantial. He's doing things that are instrumental to the arc at hand. And then King of Light was sort of like, yeah, but Horty's the main antagonist. That's why like he's more important. It's like, but all you're doing is saying that Chibi's right? Like what are you talking about? And like in that instance, Chibi was academics and King of Lightning was Joe Budden, right? And I'm talking about like at the beginning of sort of Everyday Struggle, where like people were like constantly trying to discredit academics in certain points, in certain instances, when he was talking about like numbers, sales, ways of
And I think
distributing
that's
product.
natural though. Like,
You know what I mean?
so people, there's always like somebody who people try to discredit for no reason, even if that person is knowledgeable about a certain topic that they are speaking about. Like King of Lightning, I'm sure is more knowledgeable than Chibi about a whole bunch of other manga series. But in that very instance, Chibi had a point. But because King of Lightning has so much a notoriety, and he's had so much experience as far as the anime community is concerned, he didn't really take Chibi seriously, and that's why he kind of lost that one, because he misjudged him without actually listening to what the guy was saying and what points he was bringing to the table.
Yep. And it like when I saw that, I was like, bro, like it was weird because like again, like I was washing dishes while I was listening to that part of the stream, and I was like, I had to like put down the sponge and a whole bunch. Like I was like, yo, Chibi right now, legit spitting facts, like facts. Like I was like, he is washing King of Lightning right now. You know what I mean? I was like, this though, and it was weird because King of Lightning just kept like saying the stuff that like that either only added to Chibi's point or just made no sense.
And also, you gotta admit that like King of Lightning is biased towards Cracker instead of being biased towards Hody. Like time and time again, King has stated himself that he doesn't like Hody Jones as a character. So that's how he got baited.
Okay, gotcha.
I know this. Okay, I know that. Okay, that makes a lot.
No, like if you go back to like a lot of his streams and you go back to when he was covering like Fishman Island, you can see like his distaste and like his hatred for Hody. So I feel like that's the only reason why he tried to like. I feel like that's one of the other reasons why he discredits Chibi, just because he doesn't want to give Hody any credit.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like. I mean, as you know me, I don't like giving Luffy credit, but I got to. I mean,
yeah, listen, bro, you number one Luffy hater, dog. Number one.
Bro, but I'm not saying just like deny Luffy his credit. Like he's earned his stripes in the story.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see how you can just discredit a whole character. Like, I'm not a big.
Yeah, man, but I'm dropping One Piece until this arc is over. Like, I'm gonna binge this arc. No, honestly, like to be honest, like I'm not hating or anything on the arc. I just feel like I don't have the appreciation everybody else has, so I want to drop it for a little while and then afterwards binge it with like a new set of eyes and see what I didn't like about it.
I got you.
I'm just gonna just being a blind hater to it.
It's not a bad idea. Like I would again. That's something
I mean, like if you have an issue, bro, think about it. You gotta find solutions. Like, why am I gonna be complaining about this arc when there's a solution? Just don't read the arc until it's complete, and then judge it after it's a complete arc. And then I just feel like it's a lot easier for me that way.
You know what? That's a fact. Just too, because you have to have another break coming up next week too. I already know. Be mad
exactly.
About that, so.
And how can you read the last chapter and then have 2 breaks right after, and then expect everybody to be like, "Yo, I'm really hyped for this." You're killing the hype with the 2 breaks plus with a lackluster chapter. Come on.
Yep.
Like I get like Owen needs breaks again. He works all day long, so I gave these breaks. But this is actually this is my little personal theory why he's having these breaks. I feel like he's written okay into like I won't say a bad place, but he's written it to where there's not a good way to please everybody.
Exactly.
So
I was asking Dustin about that in the Discord, and I asked him, "Yo, do you feel like there's any way that Oda can write this arc and leave the community completely satisfied?" He said it's not possible because it isn't. It's not possible. The expectations were set so high, and now that it's been so dragged out and the events that have occurred, you're gonna leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth, regardless of the payoff at the end of the arc. It is what it is.
Yeah. Nah, facts. I mean, like, I think, like, all right. So again, just to quickly chat this out. I'm planning on having a whatchamacallit? I believe we talked about like a just like a One Piece like discussion.
An expose.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We gonna expose.
I don't know how I feel about expose, but I'm all about pointing out, points that others won't.
All right, and that's fine. Like, I think that generally that's kind of what I want to do, and I want us to do. Just because I feel like it's necessary. Like while I feel like the community, like, you know, the sort of big names do, you know, sometimes,
I mean, honestly,
you know, like,
BMC, to play devil's advocate, I can see why they defend this arc so hard. Because why would any like new person seeing like all of the backlash that this arc is getting jump into reading One Piece? It is healthy to talk about the things that we don't like about the arc, but I can also see why they're defending it because it is a series that they love.
that's cool, and I get that, right? Because like, right, I understand because like they're big, the big names, so they have to kind of, you know, present like a, yo, this series is like the best thing since
Sliced bread.
I don't know, Super Soakers or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, or, you know, Sliced Bread, I don't know, you know what I mean? But like, I get it, right? Like you got to sort of promote, or you got to promote a certain product that's also like, you know, helping you out. I totally understand that, right? It doesn't make any sense for them to be like, man, this series is kind of trash right now, and, you know, don't watch my videos, don't watch my reviews.
I wouldn't say that, because a lot of like people like me, like Dustin, Brago, still people like that cover like do One Piece, like they don't say they like it, but they just know, like, they know it's a lot of different things that's happened in the last couple of chapters, actually months, that has kind of like waned and like weighed down on everybody. So
No, you know who I can say is always defending everything? Joy Boy. Like, don't get me wrong, I respect Joy Boy. I listen to a lot of his theories. Like, I follow his channel, but I can't see how he can like unopposed at all times. Like, he's always defending the series. He sees nothing wrong.
If I had to explain it, this is like, there are types of people that like in my 25 years of living, man.
No shots at Joy Boy.
No, and it's not like saying like Joy Boy's a terrible person, or, you know, Joy Boy doesn't deserve to have friends, and you know what I mean? Like, no, right? Like, Joy Boy deserves all the happiness in life that he can achieve. Like, you know what I mean? I understand that, but especially when it comes to like literary criticism, this is a very particular thing, right? There are people who, like, you know, went outside of like literary criticism. They're like, yo, you can hang out with them, you can go to a bar, you can have beer or something like that, you know, you can chill with them, whatever, and they're the coolest people you ever meet. But when you get into the space of like critiquing a text or something like that, all of a sudden it's like, especially if they love that text. This is something I've seen, like when I was doing my when I was in my doctoral program, like I see it all the time. Like, people be like, yo, but like Moby Dick though, like they would stand that text to death. You know what I mean? And it'd be like, yo, but nobody wants to, you know, read like tons of pages about, you know, whale oil, and, you know what I mean? It's like certain things just aren't interesting. Like, and a lot of people don't like everything that a text has to offer, right? And like, that's fine, right?
Expectations and enjoyment are subjective. So for anybody to tell you that you can't find a chapter trash, or that you're not allowed to enjoy a chapter, bro, you're gone off of something.
It's not even that. No, yep. I feel like, and this is also too, like, this arc has really, to me, shown who really is just a straight fanboy as far as the Straw Hats and just the story in general. Just like, they certainly do no wrong, or people who actually would like look at it and just actually kind of like critique it and really like actually like read it for as a story, not just the loop, just not for just Luffy or the Straw Hats. Like, this has really shown, like, to me, like, the arc has shown like who really is about the story and who just only cares about just the characters. Like, it really just shows, like, if you for the characters or for like Straw Hats, whatever, Luffy, then you won't care. Then you will just say like, okay, it's okay. They have some bad parts, but the story is still good. If you're like me, or like,
I do like One Piece, bro. Like, I thoroughly enjoy One Piece. Sometimes the community is cancerous, but I do enjoy the story, which is why I have to drop the arc to keep the same enjoyment that I have of the series once it's over.
I got you.
Facts. Because for me, like, I'm sorry, like, there's too many things that's happened to where, if me personally, I question. Like, for me, I I don't question it. It's just if Oda wrote it better and just put things different parts, I wouldn't really care as much. But doing certain things like to me, nerfing Big Mom, making her look weak. You know, she's never making her look weak. Again, people will say I'm hating with this, or just very very objective. But giving Luffy or the ability to start.
I mean, I'm just saying, if Luffy's gonna beat Big Mom, I want him to beat her at full power. Because if he does not beat Big Mom at full power, people will always discredit him and say, yo, Luffy was never able to beat a Yonko at full power. What is an achievement if it's not an achievement of its full merits? What's the point?
It's not even that. That's about for me. If you're gonna beat somebody and get power, let's have it be done logically. Like for me, I don't see again. I know it's a shonen. I get the main character, but I don't see the logic in giving someone a power up after he's been beaten down for the past 4 or 5 hours, and then all of a sudden he remembers his training. Then all of a sudden, oh, I want to see into the future. I could do that.
But I mean, he didn't even have to state it though. Oda didn't have to state it because it's always been shown that Haki does bloom in extreme situations. Exactly. It happened with Kobe. It happened with Usopp. I just dislike that Oda had to put that plug right before we get into the Luffy Katakuri fight. I just don't like how he wrote that specific part. Like you could have just let it happen organically and let Luffy get stronger in the fight instead of just going out here and just publicizing it before we get to this point. That's what I don't like about it.
And it's like, yeah, when people battle. No, but go ahead, man.
I don't know. I was gonna say it's not even that. It's just, I get your Haki blooms. You know what? I'm cool with that part. The Haki bloom part, I'm cool with. I guess my main gripe is giving him
just a plug, right?
It's like giving him the ability that no one else in the series has done besides one person. And one person, the person who happens to do it is the person that's been beating you up for the past 4 or 5 hours. That's like my only gripe. It's like if you just said Haki blooms to tough fights, and Luffy just getting stronger with his armor Haki.
And also, it's not like he's really training that Haki, because how would he know to like train that specific Haki to train it to have the same results that Katakuri has produced? Like I can understand that his Haki is getting stronger, so like I could understand like him getting some type of future sight. I just dislike that it's already been stated before it happens in the fight. Like if Luffy's in the fight and then all of a sudden he's been pushed to his limits and then he can start having future sight instead of Oda like telling him, oh, you're able to do this off Jump Street. Luffy shouldn't know that he's able to do it. He should reach new heights mid-battle. He shouldn't know what heights he's going to reach until he reaches them.
Yeah. And right.
I'm with that. I'm with that as well. Again, my thing, I guess, I'm only gripe is just don't give the man a power that no one else has done in the entire series except for one character that we just got introduced to months ago. Like that's my big gripe. Like I just feel like now going forward, if Luffy fights someone that has unique ability or Haki ability, he can just decide. Again, this is me all hate can. This is me thinking like, okay, if Luffy finds someone who can do like Haki force field, Luffy can probably have a tough fight, but then just do it mid-fight just because he can. That's just my only gripe. It's like he just now spam someone's ability that no one else can do besides just a few characters, if that. That's my only gripe. If anything.
No, yeah. And I mean, like, I think, two things, right? The first thing, right, is like, something that Quietly Loud mentioned in the chat is like, like, Oda did not have to say anything, right? Like we've all said, like, right? This is the classic shonen trope, right? It's like if you fight in battles, you will get stronger. That like this is not something that's like, oh, like we had to be told. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We didn't need the plug. It didn't have to be telegraphed.
It's like something like 7-year-olds that read any shonen like to figure out like for themselves, like they got it. You know what I mean? So it's like you didn't need to do that. And then what was the second? The second thing is like Oda has been far better, right? Pre time skip at sort of spreading out Luffy's progression. I will say that to me, Gear Second was something like I still have a gripe about the way that it was dealt with and the way that it was introduced and stuff like that, because I thought that like Enies Lobby arc was like phenomenal, right? Water 7 and Enies Lobby together is like wow. I think it's the best thing in One Piece, honestly. But
That's the last
that
time
Gear
all
Second,
of the Straw Hats actually got everybody
yeah,
got shine. All of
you
the
know,
Straw Hats.
it was
Facts.
phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And this is from like an anime and manga standpoint. From both is just like wow.
Oh no, I'm lying. Fishman Island, but like that was the last time
Fishman Island
everybody
was
got
really
a
good.
serious 1v1.
Fishman Island was really good too. Like there was so much going on there, and like and what they were trying to do. Like I also like Fishman Island is also like very, very good. That's
It was
criminally
meant to be
underrated.
like a show and prove arc. You were meant to see the results of everybody's training. That's what it was for. They were supposed to foderize those guys.
Yep.
But, yeah.
And like the progression was so much better in terms of like you know, I would say outside of the Gear 7 because that was kind of like but like the progression was so much better in terms of like
that's cool.
No, I mean I don't mean like the tech. I don't mean the technique itself, but just like the way that it was introduced, it legitimately came out of nowhere.
I liked it.
You know what I mean? Like that. I got you. Yeah, because it was like
I didn't mind it.
You know, and for me, I minded it because I was like,
no. Just got polarized. Yeah.
That was awesome. All that stuff like that happened after like Gear Second was introduced was like, yes, that was phenomenal. I love that stuff. I still watch them scenes, right? Like it's like okay, like yeah, but like I like it's something that I say like as like an author you Oda like legitimately believed that he could just like plop that down into the story and people would just be like, oh, this
you're
is fine.
talking about Gear Second? You're saying you have an issue with Gear Second?
Yeah, like the introduction of right, like the technique and like everything else like that comes out. Like I think it's cool. Like I love it. I love the ingenuity of it and all that stuff. Like I like the concept and everything because it's still goofy. It's still a goofy technique, right? Like it's still like vintage like One Piece, right? Like in like it's vintage like Oda in terms of like the construction of it and everything.
Because the technique itself makes sense, but I get what you're saying as far as when it was introduced.
Yeah, right. And like to me, it's not like saying, "Oh, this ruins, you know, the arc," or "This is horrible," or anything like that. But it's like I think it's a criticism that people often try to like sometimes won't even talk about, or they completely forget, or they'll say, "Oh, well, you know, it was in this movie, and because it was in this non-canon movie." That's why it's cool. Like, no. Like, I don't want to hear no excuses about the fact that Oda literally thought that he could just drop this technique that has no background and people would just be like, all right, we cool. Like for like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like if I was like, what's like an example of like a story? Like okay. So like if like Batman, right?
Or like Hunter, when Gon becomes adult Gon, people have issues with that.
Yeah, and like that's like even then, right? Like even though some right, like and it's a similar thing, right, with Luffy, right? Like the technique has backfires, right? We understand that. We get that. And I get it. Like the technique has its a risk, it has a cost. That's cool. I love that. But what's going on here?
Like, wait, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean exactly? Like, as far as like the explanation of how it works?
Yeah, well, yes, and like, where was Luffy when he was like,
where was he training to deal with this?
Yeah, like
where did he come up with the concept is the
when did he even think about it? You know, and we don't even get that. We just get the ability, and then we just move on. Like we never talk about it. Luffy never talks about it. There's never, you know, like maybe he could even be talking about like, you know, he could even talk with like a character and they might see Gear Second and be like, whoa, what's going on? How did you think of that technique? You know what I mean? Like anything that could add some sort of...
If they were going to do that, the perfect person to explain it to would have been Chopper, because Chopper is the person examining Luffy's body.
Yeah.
But I can see how Gear Second works, just because Luffy is a rubber man. So he's probably like, whenever you see when his legs like do like the little jumping motion where it looks like he's pumping up, it could be more oxygen into his bloodstream where the steam comes up, or it could be blood. It could be that his body, like, since the oxygen is being pumped so fast or the blood is being pumped so fast, that could be what lowers his lifespan and what allows his body to reach the physical peak of where he can use Soru. So I believe that it makes sense, but as far as the concept where he came up with it and how he trained it, that I agree with you with.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I like again, like people and people will sometimes when I talk to people about it, they try to shift,
The conversation.
conversation or like twist what I'm saying. And I'm like, I'm not bashing the technique. I'm not
Everybody
bashing
in the One Piece community is good at
every
flipping the narrative.
yeah. And I'm just like, not like, I'm not saying any of those things. What I'm saying is like you have to look at, you know, you got to look at the way, like in terms of the writing, right? In terms of the writing, it's not even like it's not even a plot hole. It's like it's like a Grand Canyon like size like pothole in terms of One Piece because it's such an important um
Detail.
thing, and right, it's such an important instance in the story, right? So like for me, it's like nah, but like that's just how I feel about that. And I think like it's not like me saying, oh, I'm not reading the series anymore. This series is trash, like because this thing happened. I'm saying like, people need to be more straightforward about
You can still love a series and have gripes with it. I just don't get why people don't like. I can see the big YouTubers, like I told you earlier, but overall, I don't see how somebody can jump on your back for not enjoying a manga chapter as much as they did.
Yeah,
because I feel like more so people just love the main characters. I like again this thing with Naruto and a little bit with My Hero now. It's like well, a lot of these big series like if you have a gripe with the MC because because the story's about the main character, then pretty much you can't. It's like you can't have a gripe with the story because it's about the main character. The main character's supposed to do it, and then people fall back on well, it is a shonen, so he's supposed to do this and that. I'm like that's cool, but I have a story called Kingdom where the main character is nowhere near as good as everybody else. And oh, actually, no, even better. I have a story called Hunter x Hunter, where the main character is fodder compared to the top tiers.
Yep.
So
and he's continuously fodder, right? Like it's like he never like go like right, and it's something that a lot of like videos on Hunter x Hunter stuff like talk about, but it's like right, like we know like he never like he loses more battles than he wins, right? Like in terms of like those important battles and stuff.
And isn't that what makes the series exciting? The character going up against the odds.
Yep. And it's like we generally don't know if Gon is on but we know that he's gonna come out alive generally, right? But it's also just like, yo, like how intact will he be? Right? Like
exactly.
Like that's what I love about it, right? Because every battle's like he just progressively gets more and more like destroyed. And it's just like, man, this like it's an awesome series. And like you mentioned, right, in terms of Hunter x Hunter, like that transformation, it was like I think that was the point where a lot of people had issues about how far Nen could go and like could like Ken Tagashi like still tell a story that a story where like that
and the difference is between adult Gon and what's happening with Luffy now is that we were introduced to Nen contracts the very moment in York New City when Kurapika was training his Nen. Kurapika was training his Nen, and Nen contracts were already made at that point, which is how he had to conjure his chain. So at that point, it's not far off to say that because of the Nen contract that Gon made, that he could attain such power. And we saw the drawbacks of that. Like a power-up should be something that's like, it doesn't always have to be telegraphed like how Oda did it. It's something that can just be an underlying tone, or it could have been an explanation from a long time ago that you bring up. It doesn't have to be something where it's just like, oh, this is important now because it's what's going to happen. I just don't like that it was spoiled. Like, why would you telegraph it?
Yeah. And also like that power-up for Gon, like Tagashi, right? Like the Nen system is such a complex and an amazingly like constructed power system that it makes total sense that Gon could like manifest older a body with which he could fight a being that he had no chance against prior to that, right? Like we've seen Castro, right? Like Castro literally formed another person out of Nen. You know what I mean? Like we've seen that. We've seen the capabilities of other Nen users. So right, and like it's almost like Tagashi. Like Tagashi's an author that like really gets the intelligence level of his readers and understands that like we can figure these things out. Sometimes he doesn't have like sometimes he does explain certain things and it's like great because he has to because it's
But
more like
it doesn't feel like
you know?
Tagashi's babysitting you.
Yeah, exactly. So when we see Gon do this thing, we're like, yo, we've seen some similar stuff. We've seen Nen used in ways that are like, whoa, like okay, so Gon has a new body. Okay, we've seen people create things. We've seen people manifest things out of Nen. We've seen people get way more powerful with a Nen technique, right? And then like the ramifications of that is like, whoa, like I love that because it was like, yo, Gon really screwed up.
Right. It's not even that. We see throughout the whole series of mine. People, if you do something wrong with your Nen ability, or you don't guess or do something right with a certain
you can limit your potential by specializing in the wrong type of field of Nen because Nen is indicative of how you were born.
Or even die. As you've seen a few times with certain like villains or certain characters, like you do something wrong with the Nen or don't go with your contract or do something out of place, you can die. So like when Gon went, I wasn't surprised. Like he happened to just be in a very tight situation to where his Nen just happened to explode all at once. So I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it's not even explode. He made a contract. He made a contract agreeing that he would never use Nen again. And Nen is your life force. So if you agree to never use Nen again, it means you technically agree to die, which is why Gon, after he fought Neferpito, was on his deathbed.
Okay, you know what? Bad. You're right. I forgot about the whole contract. I just knew again. I remember the guy. I knew about him getting some powers. So, you right about that. I forgot that's why he played in his contract. I thought about that. Bad.
Oh nah, bro, it's good. I'm just a Hunter x Hunter fanboy.
No, yeah, and I mean, right? Like, wait, no, go ahead, Jordan. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm gonna say bad. Like, I really did forget all about that. Like, he put that in contract. I forgot all about that.
And it was awesome because it's like right. I mean, I think we're all like, are we all caught up on the manga, or we not?
Oh, I'm caught up, man. I'm ready for Yo, did you guys hear that it's coming back? I think it's next week.
Is it next week or I thought it was this week?
It's this week?
I thought it was
hey, then it's Christmas, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean like it's like this week in terms of like scanlation, because you know people are gonna scan the Hunter x Hunter chapter. But it's probably gonna come out like officially like on Monday.
I'm not holding my breath,
yeah, because that's what I saw in like the article that it's coming out like this upcoming Monday. But you're right, the scanlations.
I'm not gonna hold my breath because we all know how this will end. So this is the thing I hate about this. We all know how this is gonna end. We'll be the hype.
I just think Tagashi should get an apprentice, bro. Get him an apprentice. Have somebody like start doing the art, so Tagashi can just go ahead and orchestrate the narrative. Because that's what we're really there for. We're not there for Tagashi's art. We're there for the story that Tagashi writes. I think we can all agree that Tagashi's art is trash.
I would say it's trash. It's just like, well, yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. Is like generally like it's not like, you know, incredible.
One Piece's art is way better than Hunter x Hunter's art. I will always give that up to One Piece. Always.
Oh yeah, easy. That's easy.
But I personally, in my personal opinion, Hunter x Hunter has a better story. Feel free to crucify me if you like, but that's how I feel.
That's interesting.
I don't disagree with that. To me, again, for me, a story is something where I can read it. And again, for me, I've never cared about main characters ever. I've only actually cared about 3 or 4 main characters ever in like any series I read, whether it be a manga, comic, or even like a regular book. Like I don't really care for main characters.
And the main character shouldn't make or break a series. The main character, like the world building of a story, and the everybody that you meet up till that point, even if you don't like Gon, even if you don't like Killua, Jean is amazing, Pariston is amazing, Beyond Netero is amazing, Netero was amazing. There's just so many great characters. Hisoka is a god. Only man that you've seen come back from death's door by himself.
That's a fact. That is a fact. Like for me, like after like when it got to the coalition war, we got to the coalition war. and he started going through pretty much every single general, just about most generals, most of the even like little lieutenants or whatever. Like even like I know so much more about the actual generals than I do about freaking Shin. So like I actually like care about what's going to happen with this general or this war or this army or this general, this army. Like I'm like Kingdom, like the world building is so great. So with like explaining most of the characters to where like I wouldn't care. Like I really would not care at all if shit dies in the next chapter. I would not care at all, just because like it's so fleshed out with different characters and how it's broken down to where like it's just a great read regardless of if you have Shin or not. Like it's just that great for me.
And honestly, I mean, Kingdom is one of the few stories where if the MC dies, you could technically still keep it going.
Yeah, and yeah, similar thing with similar thing with Hunter x Hunter, where like I am one of the people that, and people would like destroy me for saying this, but I mean, of course I don't care because like whatever. But if Kurapika died, I would praise Togashi. I would legitimately send like roses to his house. Like, no, that would be incredible because it's like look like he's legitimately killing himself.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's killing himself.
Yeah.
And the difference, right, is that Gon sort of took a similar path throughout the story where he's just like continuously putting himself in danger. But like Gon has so many people that love him, that care about him, and that he's loved equally, right? That he's cared about equally, right? In terms of the like impact and like emotional like levels and stuff like
and
that. And
honestly, the way that Kurapika is killing himself is way different than Gon because Kurapika is losing years of his life.
Yeah.
No, it's not an arm, bro. It's not an arm. It's not a finger. He didn't lose his nen. You're losing years of your lifespan.
Yeah.
And that's what to me is great about Hunter x Hunter is that, and it's something that OV always says about One Piece. So this is great. So shout out to OV for this, but I agree with this. Is like with stories, I want to have consequences for things. So I want to feel like if you do something or something happens, there's a consequence for it. You have to pay a price. Like with One Piece, I don't think there's any more prices to pay anymore when it comes to One Piece. I feel like if something happens, like with the whole
There's no danger. There's no danger in One Piece right now. And don't get me wrong. Like again, I hate that I have to keep saying this. I do love the series, but if you can't point out what's wrong with the things you love, do you really care?
Facts.
Like let's be honest.
That's my thing. Like I feel like people critique it, then that's because they actually like it. They actually want to be better than what it is currently. So I feel like if you critique it or break it down, then you actually like it. That's just me. Like for me, like in My Hero, there's actually consequences to things that heroes do. So if someone messes up or someone slips up, there's consequences. If Deku uses his powers too much, he can actually die. There's consequences. Even let's see here, even in Promised Neverland, even though it's a little more toned down as far as the superhero aspect or the power aspect. If the orphan mess up, or if they do meet the wrong person, or make the wrong move, someone will die. Like there's actually consequences. Like you're entranced to it. One Piece now with Whole Cake, the Straw Hats can go up against Yonko, and again I call it the B Team Straw Hats go against Yonko and actually push her off the boat. And not even have any fear of Yonko. So, in the pre-time skip, we saw, granted, he has a different power set. He has his title. We see Whitebeard literally put the entire world in fear from just showing up. And that's where, like, to me, that's where I find this disconnect. That's where, like, I get a little upset with the writing, is just because, on one hand, granted, Whitebeard was Whitebeard. You have a man just show up and put fear in the entire world's heart. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have Big Mom, who when we see her at her highest peak, she's splitting the earth in half, pretty much, with one swing.
I don't think anybody's debating that Big Mom is strong. What I think people are debating is that since this crazed state has been introduced, No one can say that with Big Mom in a serious 1v1, this won't be something that reoccurs again and again. So you can't say that she's the strongest Yonko or give her that pedestal if she can't even control herself over something as small as food. It's a disorder. It's a disorder, and people have called it a disorder, and I get that. But you still have to factor in this disorder when you match her up against the other Yonko.
It's not even that, because in this disorder, we've seen her do things that no other character can do. She used Napoleon and had the L backslash, which pretty much split an ocean. I think it was ocean like an island in half. Like we've seen her, and last time we've seen her spam not Prometheus to where she's pretty much now a mini nuke now. Like we see her do things that even in this crazy state is very OD to be dead by now. But with the Straw Hats, they can probably still get away. She was riding away. She was riding a sea slug, riding an immense wave. They got away.
Honestly, when the Straw Hats fended her off, the only thing I wasn't okay with was Chopper tanking her, bro. Like that's the only thing that like took it like out of context for me. Like I get Jinbei, I get Nami, I get all of that, bro. But just like Chopper guard point, when has Chopper guard point been this defensive to the point where he can actually block the attack of a Yonko, bro?
It's not even that. It's just it makes it worse. Is you saw him get fatherized. Literally, not even. I don't think he got one shot. He just got fatherized by Pearl Sparrow and almost turned to candy.
And Chopper was getting fatterized by homies, bro, by trees.
This is true. Yes, this is true.
How do you go from getting fatterized by trees to fucking like? I'm sorry for the language, but for tanking Big Mom.
Okay. I mean, and I think this right. This is the thing, right? Like, One Piece is a series, and right again, like kind of like some of the stuff that y'all been saying, like, yes, right, like we understand, right? We get that One Piece is a series that is written in such a way that certain things aren't realistic in terms of like expectation, like danger, right? Like the same type of danger that you see in like a Kingdom or The Promised Neverland or My Hero Academia, even. You know what I mean? Like, but right, it doesn't mean that the writing isn't like paltry, if I had to use a word, right? Like it doesn't mean that, right? Like why does Chopper, right? Chopper uses guard point against some of these particular characters, but he doesn't use guard point or certain things against other characters that are also, a problem for him, right? Like it's like stuff like that bothers me. It's like the strategies are extremely
the strategies are catered to the situation.
Yeah, like that's like it's weak writing, right? It's writing that like that's not hard. That's not hard to make sure that like a particular character, or particular things happen in particular situations, and they get to use their abilities to show off or whatever. That's not hard, especially in a shonen manga, right? Like especially in a shonen manga. So for me, like whenever people are like, oh, this was cool, and I'm like, yo, but there's gotta be some really, really interesting consistency, right? And one of the things that I love, especially like in terms of like what Braga will say about One Piece, right, is that Braga also acknowledges that the fights in One Piece are like generally kind of like they're not the best, right? Like I'm not going to like One Piece and be like, yo, like if I'm picking, right, and I feel like this was in a Braga story where we like, yo, pick like 10 One Piece fights or something like that, or 5 One Piece fights or whatever, like 10 One Piece fights that like, you would put up against 10 fights in like another like, praised like shonen manga or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't like legitimately do that. Like I could not take 10 fights from One Piece and be like, yo, all these 10 fights are better than these 10 fights in Hunter x Hunter or My Hero Academia or, you know what I mean? Like a battle shonen. You know what I mean? Like a quality battle shonen. It's just I need to see that consistency because if I see that, then I don't.
At that point, the One Piece community has the cop out that you don't watch One Piece for the fights. You watch One Piece for the story and the adventure.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like,
but yet, on the same token, all they do is fight about power scaling. When One Piece is not about the fights. Explain it, bro.
And then with the same
there is no explanation.
Then the same community will use headcanon to explain to you why a certain character is stronger than another character when one character hasn't even lifted a finger.
Exactly. They infer or they use their intuition to figure out why somebody's power scaling or why somebody may be stronger than another person. But in reality, there's no actual facts or basis stating that this specific person is stronger than such and such.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I understand those discussions. I generally try not to like be involved in those discussions because I just have a hard time kind of like sort of saying like, oh, this character is definitely stronger than that character. Like sometimes I can do that. Sometimes I can be like, well, yeah, clearly, like, you know, whatever. But even then, I think it's hard. Like you don't kind of come like, you know, if you're just trying to have a good time with it, then I'm like, all right, that's cool. But there's some people who are like, yo, like we trying to set a precedent, you know, and write like a One Piece data book, you know, on like, oh, well, these characters are definitely stronger than those characters, and this is the tiers, and that. I'm like, you ain't Oda.
Again, that's from again. Every time I argue with people about power and things, I always say like, you're not Oda. Like that's like for me, I'm just a simple person that likes to read manga. You say I'm a casual fan, that's fine. I can be a casual, but like I enjoy stories. For me, you may say like I use my imagination or like use my mind or use common sense. Like no, like I go off what the writer tells me. If the writer tells me or Yonko or the strongest fired story, the strongest until proven otherwise, it's a story. So you can't tell me that no one else stronger than Yonko when Dragon has literally been seen doing nothing but smiling the entire series. I'll give him his respect off his title, and I can say he's probably a top 10 character in terms of strength. But you can't tell me that Dragon is stronger than Yonko when he has literally been seen doing nothing but smiling the entire time we've seen him.
But to play devil's advocate, you can't. But to play devil's advocate, you can't call the character trash because they haven't done anything. Like Mihawk is called the strongest swordsman, and people love to discredit Mihawk. Dog, Mihawk is hard, bro.
Bro, I've seen it. I've seen it, bro. Again,
you don't get a title of the strongest swordsman by being garbage.
I've seen it in the BDA Discord, bro.
Because let's be honest, bro. If the One Piece versus strongest swordsman is trash, what does that make the One Piece verse?
That's facts. Because then this whole Shanks versus Mihawk argument, if Mihawk is trash, what does that make Shanks? Then
exactly.
There,
why would Shanks waste his time sparring with someone who's trash? Obviously, you're not going to want to spar with somebody if they're not on your level.
It's even more funny. Then, for all the Zoro fanboys who love to ride Zoro, but then want to discredit Mihawk, if Mihawk's trash, what does it make your boy Zoro? Because Zoro
because Mihawk fodderized Zoro. Fodderized. Hey, listen, Zoro is Mihawk's son. You want to know why he's Mihawk's son? Because he went to ask the man for training. And Mihawk didn't even train him himself. He sent him to go fight baboons, bro. Get out of here.
It's not even that. Your boy Zoro got on his knees and begged this man to train. He got on his knees and begged to train. So, again, I really want to know who is like a troll or like who's serious because trash, but then like Zoro, then I want to know the real logic behind that. People love to say Zoro is stronger than Luffy, which I don't know how. Again, we haven't seen it yet, but people say Zoro is stronger than Luffy. Mihawk's trash. What does that make Zoro? Shiryu? What does that make everybody else One Piece versus Vista? What does that make everybody else One Piece versus? Because people that say Vista can beat Mihawk, okay, then if Mihawk's trash, then Vista must be just garbage. Then, if that's the case, I'm sorry. Like people, I saw them get like if you seen that Mihawk is respected by everybody in the story, if he's get that much respect, then I'm gonna just say, you know what, Mihawk is that person. He's that dude. If I see that one of the most popular characters Zoro gets on his hands and knees and begs this man stronger, I wouldn't believe that he's strong. That's just me.
Yeah, and I mean, like, again, right? Like, it's like people, it's like what people are saying in the chat. You can love a series, you can appreciate a series and appreciate certain things, and you can also critique it. You can also be like, yo, this series has a lot of issues. Like, there are some things here that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and you can talk about those things, right, in a civilized manner, and be like, yo, I don't know. The right and right, the problem, right? Like, we're sitting here, we're talking about, yo, we're doing this, no problem, right? And people in the chat, we're doing this, no problem, right? It's what happens is when you have people who will, like, nah, if you attacking One Piece and you attacking me, if you say One Piece is trash and you say I'm trash, I'm like, wait, what? Like, that, no, that's a lot. Like, we know it's a logical fallacy. Like, it seems that you don't understand that that's a logical fallacy, right? It's like, no, that's not the way this works, right? It's like, we're having a conversation about issues that we have with the writing of this series, right? And I think sometimes even people would be like, oh, we don't have to talk about that. Clearly, like, this part of the series is not as great as the other part of the series, but it's fine. Let's just keep reading. Let's just keep talking about how great it is. I'm like, no, let's actually talk about the issues. Let's talk about why this, like, for me, like, what I want to do in the in that stream is talk about why I feel like this I don't want to call it half, because I feel like there's a lot more story, but I guess like half, yeah. But I feel like this New World stuff is not nearly as solid as the, like, pre-time skip stuff. Like, the pre-time skip stuff, like, Oda was doing, like, his thing. Like, he was writing characters. He was, like, the world construction was phenomenal. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was legitimately, like, glorious stuff. And then we get to this New World stuff, and, like, Fishman Island, I think, is phenomenal. I love Fishman Island.
Yeah, I actually like
Fishman
Island too.
And, like, I think, like, I get what some people are saying. Like, I think, like, when I was reading the manga, like, the manga is, to me, like, awesome. I love the manga. I think, like, the anime kind of, like, embellished on some things in a way that was kind of like, like, especially some, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. But I will say that there were some things that the anime did beautifully, like, and accentuated, like all the Queen Otohime stuff, Jinbei stuff, the Fisher Tiger stuff, all that stuff is phenomenal.
The fights and the fight with Hody and Luffy was so well animated. When you saw them good, like, moving at, like, light speed, and, like, they're leaving their footprints and the footprints are breaking the ship. That was so awesome. It was like one of the best things that I've watched.
Yep. It was just like, wow. Like, this arc was this, and the arc was phenomenal. And people were just like, oh, this arc was not great. It was trash. I'm like, did all the metaphors and the allusions to racism and, like, and prejudice and everything like that, did all that just, like, go over your head? Do you have no soul? Did, like, when Queen Otohime died, did you not shed like a tear, either figuratively or literally? Like, come on. Like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Honestly, the people in the One Piece community who says that One Piece is not about the fights, it's not about the adventure. Whole Cake Island doesn't have the same level of adventure and exposition that Fishman Island had. Like, what real deep issues have we really touched on since we've gotten to Whole Cake?
I think, okay, so another thing is, like, I think that we've touched on deep issues, but the problem is they haven't been handled. Sometimes they just haven't, like, either they've been handled well, like, in, like, a little pocket, and then they just kind of
brush it to the side.
Yeah, right. Like, Dressrosa, I thought the beginning of that was pretty strong. Like, I thought there was some really awesome things. I loved what Oda was doing with, like, turning people into toys, and I thought he was doing some, like, really great stuff with that. And I felt that, because, like, these people could not do anything. They just had to. It was like a critique of.
Honestly, nobody can tell me that Big Mom or Katakuri are better villains than Doflamingo. Doflamingo is a villain that's leagues above both of them.
Doflamingo.
That's a fact.
Doflamingo is like, you know, and this is what I'm talking. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like, he is a character that I feel like is wonderful. Is so wonderfully constructed and utilized and everything like that. But then I feel like that arc just kind of it teeters. Certain things weren't particularly interesting. I feel like the manga did a much better job. Right, the anime did a terrible job when it comes to Dressrosa.
But I mean,
right,
isn't Toei always trash?
Yeah, but Dressrosa was particularly like, yo.
Yeah, it was particularly trash for Toei. But Toei was like, Chibi did a review of Dressrosa. Now something about him and his friend watching it, but he was saying that like they adapted for the show half of a chapter per episode, half of a chapter, and then they were doing weekly releases. They're doing like weekly releases of half of a chapter. Of course, the pacing is gonna be slow.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, like, no, please, no, like. And I mean, right, and this is why I tend to like, at least with certain series, like especially long-running series, I tend to just like, I'll read the manga and it'll take me like forever to check out like the anime variant. Like, I can't remember the last time I watched like an actual episode of One Piece, as opposed to like clips on like YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. I actually can't sit down, and spend like, 20 something minutes of my time, waiting for that like super long exposition to explain what happened during the last episode, and then get to the episode, and then it's like, 18 minutes left for whatever it is that they're gonna show.
Exposition.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was saying like, yeah, they leave you like 18 minutes for new exposition. I mean, but Chibi touched on that too. But he said that One Piece doesn't have an ending song, so it kind of makes up for it. I still think Toei's trash.
It's like, and I even think that excuse is like, I don't think that excuse is very good. It's like, yo, that's not an excuse. Like, we don't care. Like, we know. Like, we good. We know what happened. Like, we got it. We don't need 5 minutes. We don't need that. You could do that in 1 minute. 1 minute, be like, this ain't happening, this ain't happening, this ain't happening. All right, let's move on. Like, 1 minute you could do that in, but 5 minutes, yo, we don't need that. We don't need 5 minutes. We can go to the last episode and skim through that and remind ourselves of what happened. I'm like, come on, man. Like no. I like, one thing that I that actually kind of gets on my nerves is when people give excuses for things that aren't good, or are even like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like or things that are trash. It's like, that's a trash thing to do. It's not even a sneaky thing to do, because it's so obvious, right? It's like, it's so in your face. That's what bothers me.
They're milking
like,
the series.
And they do it in your face. Like, they don't even try to hide it. They're just like,
not to mention that, like, not always the art and animation isn't always quality.
Oh yeah. I mean, but that I understand. Like, I get so I think like some people might say, oh well, animation companies work their workers to the bone, so they have to reuse the animation that we saw in the last episode, so that the animators don't have to animate as much for the episodes. And I'm like,
I can see that for smaller studios, but Toei is Toei. Toei has a budget big enough for the biggest series in Japan. You can't tell me that the One Piece community can't have gripes with Toei and their animation. Like, honestly, and it's like, if they make a petition to get another studio to pick up One Piece, it would be better off, because people will actually enjoy the series. Not everybody's going to read the manga, so of course you want the anime for One Piece to be the best quality that it can be.
But apparently, people like the anime because people watch the anime, they feel that the anime and the manga, then it's canon. It's part of the story. So people obviously like it because
people just say that because they don't have another source material for anime. Like, if the One Piece anime was done by Studio Bones, godly. Why do you think the My Hero Academia anime is way better than the One Piece? Because of the studio. The studio is everything.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's got. I'm understand people. I'm saying people. Granted, I'm saying people just care because they'll watch it and then be like, "Oh, that's cool." Again, granted, but then they'll just go ahead and pick up, look at some information that's added into the anime, and then cool with that. But then people will stay look at My Hero and then think, "Oh, that is like you said, that's godly." Or even look, even granted, people have brushed even Dragon Ball Super. It's like that's granted the trash and Super, but then the fight scenes, the Lord, are godly. So, like you say, it is a studio. It's just I don't know. It's just my thing. I just wonder about people's perception about things and
And
how they take it.
isn't Dragon Ball Super also adapted by Toei?
It is, yeah, because I know.
One more example. One more example why Toei is trash.
No, this is what I'm get. This is what I'm get. Toei will have a trash anime as far as like how things are shown, but then for only Super, I don't know why. For only Super, actually, Dragon Ball Z period, or just great fight sequences, but then not do it for any other series besides Dragon Ball.
But it's not even that, because
Exactly.
in Dragon Ball, a lot of the art and animation looks garbage. I just think it's Toei. Toei likes to skim off the top, and if they feel like they can get away with something, they're gonna do it. They don't put their heart and soul into a series. That's just not.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not what they do.
yeah, and I mean, I think what also bothers me is like people will, again, like they'll shift the conversation to something that's like, yo, we already get, right? We understand that like animators, right, the workers in like an animation companies tend to be worked extremely hard and aren't paid enough. We understand that, right? Like, and but they'd be like, oh, this is the reason. I'm like, yeah, but that's not a good thing. Why? Like, how is it that like why are you still defending like the show? Like, you should like what the conversation should shift once you understand that all this bad stuff is happening. The conversation should shift to how do we get these companies to be better? Like how do you know what I mean? Like how do we do that? Right? Like and that's the thing that bothers me. It's like sometimes you'll see like, a few like a couple of YouTubers, like anime YouTubers and stuff like that, and they'll talk about it. And like what was it? The one thing I forgot, like I think Digibro, like I generally don't mess with Digibros like videos too often and stuff like that. But
No, that's cool, bro. You can draw influence from anywhere.
You know what I mean? But like, right? But like, I thought like when he was talking about like the issues with the anime the anime industry, and I think it's just to some extent, right, the manga industry, but particularly the anime industry. I was like, yo, he was like, yo, you gotta call these people out. You have to say like, yo, this is a problem. Like why? Like he was like, why am I gonna support a product or products that I don't feel like backs like whatchamacallit
And
works,
BMC,
go ahead.
honestly, if the One Piece community really cared about the series as much as they say they do, they would petition, they would boycott Toei, just because Toei is not representing the manga in the way that it needs to be represented. And I think we can all agree here that anime over popularizes a manga. There's various mangas that have gotten an anime, and that has increased their popularity and increased the sales. So if you really care about the series of One Piece and you want the sales to go up, getting the manga to be as good as it can be is important. So for people not to focus on that, it's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, it's like they were just like real straightforward, like to me, like I think, like right, like and us, I think, like straightforward, just like correlations between like critiquing particular things and asking for certain things to be of a higher quality, and right, like when it comes to like particular particular artists, right, and then like making sure that the spaces in which the artists work, support them properly. Like, I mean, to me, that's like, yo, yo, like where were those conversations? And that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me about like bigger YouTubers, like this like really big YouTubers, because like you have so much power to be like, I'm gonna make this big. Like you could just consistently be like, yo, tell your people to tell these people to be better. You know what I mean? Like it's like you literally have the ability to say, yo, but what happens, right? I'm pretty sure that like, you know, they're like, oh man, if I say something, yo, I might not be able to do these reviews no more. I might not be able to use this content no more. I'm like,
And it will stay. It's the ones of us that actually care, bro, will still support you, dog. Because again, like I said, if you don't critique the things that you love, do you really care?
you know, and it's like for me, it's like that's why it's like when I one thing I love is like I don't ask people to subscribe. I don't. I always, but what I always do is I ask people to comment, and if they want to come through the streams and stuff like that, please do. Why? Because I'm interested in critique. I'm interested in talking with people. I'm interested in hearing perspectives that differ from mine, and trying to figure out how I can, you know, mold my opinions, right, and thoughts into like into something that's more like sharp, that's more that's stronger, right? That's like
And
more
that'll
solid.
only happen through consistent conversation.
You know, so it's like this is why like it bothers me, because people are like, hey, you know, go go buy like a Viz media subscription. And I'm like, yo, look, I think like if you have like generally I'm like, yo, you know, if you have the money and you live in America, right, and you want to, you know, you want to support like the industry or something like that, then you should probably, you know, pay $25 for that year. But at the same time, I also understand that the industry, like the industries, are problematic, and that there are issues that need to be addressed. Like I'm not gonna be like, yo, go spend $25 and then never think about the problems within, you know, Seishua and all these, and Kodansha and all these other like
Big companies, you know.
manga publishers. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, because like you have to kind of, you know, you have to kind of do both at the same time. Like it's weird. Like you know, like for me, the way I do it is I sort of say like, hey, like the only reason I pay that $25 is because it's more convenient for me. Like it's actually more convenient for me. You know, like unless like, you know, I like send some actual like money to a manga artist. Like, yo, if I could, you know, send like set up funds to Demizo Pasuka Demizu, right? Who is the artist of The Promised Neverland, right? Like if I could do that every month, I would. I wouldn't even bother paying $25 for a Viz like thing. I wouldn't even bother.
Because a lot of the money doesn't even go to the mangaka. It just goes directly,
you know,
to the company. It goes to the publishers. Goes to their, like. There's so much money that trickles down to people that it doesn't need to trickle down to. Like, I mean, honestly, why do you think that a lot of these mangaka, when they retire, like these guys don't have as much money as we think they do, but their series are so publicized, and yet they can't live a well-off life after creating these great pieces of work.
You know, it's just like, yeah, we like I want to have these conversations, and like I think like they were, you know, the was it the part 2 of the Reverie? They were trying to have that conversation, and like there were like, and I kind of understand, right? There were so many people in the chat that were like, man, this conversation is boring. I don't understand why. And you know, and I was like, they're important. Brago was like, you know, in the chat, like continuously saying, hey, this is an important conversation. We got to talk about this. This affects like, you know, this affects like how we make money. This affects how we like, you know, support these products, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was enjoying it. I was like, yo, please continue. You know what I mean? What I would love to see them set up, like, I don't know if they've done this before. I feel like they might have, but I'm not sure. But I would love to see them like have an actual stream where they talk about this, or where they like actually sit down and be like, hey, you know, what do we actually think about this? What are certain, you know, ways that we can move forward progressively, right? As opposed to just like, okay, you know, this thing will be all right until whenever, until like, you know, I stack enough bread to not worry about the conversation anymore. You know, I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, I appreciate guys like Dustin and Brago who actually aren't scared to critique series that they actually care about.
No, I respect them both. Yeah.
And then the whole thing with them wanting to support the like the Viz Monday releases, I'm with that too. But again, you got to think about how it trickles down to the mangaka. Does all the money that you're putting into like the series, does it really go to the people that matter?
Yeah, and right, like you have to, right, like so you have to figure out, like, I think to me, you always have to sort of think about two things, right? One, does like right, and this is what I think Digibro was sort of talking about, right? It's like, one, does the product actually like appease to you, right? Like, is this a product that makes your experience better? You know, so for me, one like initially it was like, you know, like most, like for the most part, it's like, yeah, like I can react to Monday. All the manga are in one place in terms of weekly on the Jump. I like, it's easier for me. I don't have to wait for Manga Stream to come and stuff. I don't have to worry about these ridiculous, you know, translations and stuff like that. It's like I appreciate that. So for me, in terms of the convenience, you know, and I like to pay $25 for the year. It's convenient for me. I can read certain new series when they come out. You know, like that's fine, right? Like I appreciate that, right? Like if I want to buy digital manga, I can buy digital manga of a volume or whatever. You know, like so for me, it's fine. But I also have to make sure that I'm not just like sitting around being like, yo, okay, it's convenient for me. You know, I'm gonna support this thing right now. You know, I have to make sure that I am constantly saying, yo, if this thing doesn't, if I'm not rocking with this thing, if this thing is not like convenient, the second this thing doesn't become convenient, I'm dropping it. Like I'm not gonna give you $25 just because, you know, like on some like morality kind of like stuff. Like in this sense, right? In this sense, right? Like no, because it's not like, because in one instance it might not be convenient for me, right? And thus I wouldn't spend money on it, right? Like in that sense. But right, but also you have to make sure, I think, at least for me, I got to make sure that I'm sticking with like certain things, that I'm making sure that I'm critiquing certain things, that I'm always saying like, yo, this organization, this industry is an issue, this part of the industry is an issue, certain things need to change, you know. So and that only happens when you're consistent, you know what I mean? When you're consistent,
we have to have these conversations.
Yep. Hold on, quietly loud.
I said I just learned so much right now. I just listen to y'all. I learned a lot.
Yo,
we're about to get the goat quietly in here. Let's
go,
man.
Yo, and that's the thing, right? And that's what I love, right? Like, yo, when like I can, you know, like if I can, like, you know, if I'm speaking stuff and like people like, yo, like I just learned, you know, a few things there, and Sombre's speaking stuff, and you know, and you learn a few things, and like I'm like in a conversation and I learned some stuff from y'all, like. That's the best thing, man. When I'm just like in a chat, I'm learning things from everybody. You know, I'm getting like more knowledgeable, more aware, things like that. It's cool beans.
Hey, you know what's the craziest part? Like that videos that actually talk about how to further promote a series don't get as many views as a power scaling video. It's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get the same support. And they're equally as important, if not more important, than a power scaling discussion.
Yep.
Yo, what's good, Quality?
Yo. What's good, Quality?
I don't know how good this mic is on here.
Pretty good.
No, it's all good, bro.
Oh, all right, cool. It's good. I heard y'all talking about the whole, you know, paying, and I just think that you should pay if you can. Like if it doesn't hurt your pockets, then.
No, of course, but like the thing is, we were saying is that unfortunately, not all of the money that we put into the series goes directly to Oda, or for any other mangaka that you know you enjoy.
That is true too. I mean, it's kind of it gets hard to worry about exactly who gets the money, because of course he's not getting. I mean, he's getting majority maybe, but like the way it transfers, and then you have like you have the anime side of it who has to get money also. It's like I know like all of the money that 100% doesn't go to Oda. So for people who saying like they want to give money just because they want to, you know, support Oda,
it doesn't go directly to him.
Yeah, because you're supporting the One Piece empire, or the basically like he doesn't get everything.
I mean, honestly, I think the best thing that we can do is to review these series and to have conversations that push the quality and the popularity of the series forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I heard you guys talking about the anime too before, and like even for me, I actually like the anime a lot, but it's only because that was at the time I wasn't even reading manga, and like just watching the anime, like just like transferring into the manga from the anime, it was easier because you know the characters, you hear their voices. It's an easier transition. And on top of that, I mean, I think people just like seeing things in color and emotion.
Yeah, that's true. And that was the thing for me too. Like I always look forward to like I still look forward to seeing particular things animated. Like I'm always gonna look forward to being like, oh, I can't wait to like when I saw the Luffy Sanji thing, I was like, yo, I can't wait to see that animated. I can't wait to see Luffy versus Sanji animated. Like it was great. It was like it was beautifully animated, right? Like that was awesome.
I watch every week. Even though I caught up and everything to the manga and everything, I still watch like every week, every weekend. Watch Super, watch One Piece, whatever else.
I think the only thing that I do watch probably every week. Well, not every week because I think like with Dragon Ball Super, I tend to like, if I'm like, oh, this episode looks like it'll be interesting, then I'll watch it. But right now, like yes, because every episode should be particularly interesting moving forward. Because there's only so many fighters left. What is it like? 6 fighters left or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it's Gohan.
Like it's Dragon Ball Super, it's like, yeah.
Goku, Vegeta, Toppa, and No, it's I think you're right, 7 or 8.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 fighters.
Quietly, bro, you sound a little choppy. I think it might be because of your connection.
Oh, all right. Let me see.
Hey, but yeah. I definitely agree with McQuiley. Like it's easier to transition from the anime to the manga, but I mean it still doesn't excuse that we should try to get the anime to be as good as far as quality, like compared to the manga. Because not everyone is gonna read the manga, and if you want people to read the manga and support the releases, getting the anime to be top quality is definitely one of the easiest ways that you can do that. And if you actually care about the series, then promotion is important.
Yeah, I mean, like I think like with I mean, this is like kind of what I heard. I mean, part of it is just like some of it is just like American like U.S. sensibilities, right, generally, and like and Japanese sensibilities, right? So like let's say like something with like with Kingdom, I think is a great example of like a manga that like that's definitely. Like that's definitely an issue, in terms of like, I think like sometimes people generally don't, at least like like in terms of American sensibilities, like for whatever reason, like right, general fans don't really mess with like intense like historical like manga, like when it's like legit, like you know what I mean, like there's like a difference between like the historical sort of like sort of connotation of like Kingdom, and then like Naruto. Like Naruto's not like really based in like any sort of like super like historical sort of like space or anything like that, or period or whatever. Like it outside of like its aesthetic, right? But like that gets in the way. Like people don't want to like remember like sometimes people don't even want to remember just like names. Like they have a hard time. They'll be like, oh no, you know what? Like Kingdom, they got these Chinese names. Nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like 10 chapters and they'll be like, no, I'm not messing with these Chinese names. Like, or I'm not messing with this like very intricate military battle, or you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like stuff like that bothers me because it's like. Right, because I feel like in Japan, like there's so many stories that are like that like are extremely successful. But I don't know.
No, I agree with what you're saying. But I mean, like it just kind of boils down to, do you really care about the series? If something like that is gonna put you off, like don't get me wrong, I have my gripes with like Whole Cake Island, and yes, I am gonna drop it until I can binge the arc. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna drop the series because I actually enjoy the series. If you don't love the series enough and something like that puts you off to like to continue reading a series that you love, then obviously you didn't care that much in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I think, yeah, I would say, I'm trying to remember, like, I can't remember if I like legitimate. No, I was okay. I dropped, um, I dropped like a Detective Conan for a while. I just dropped it. I was like, I can't. I'm good right now. Just cause like I don't know. I just felt I just felt fell out of it. I just fell out of like reading it or whatever. And then I picked it up again, and it was like, oh, it's pretty cool. But like, yeah, I think with that it's like, like if you're like, I think I generally was not messing with like really really vibing with the series in a certain way, and I was like, what, I'm just gonna drop it for like years, and then I came back to it. But I
Did you like it though when you came back to it?
Yeah. Detective Conan is like a series like, but I had to shift my I had to shift like not even my expectation, but just like the way like, well, yeah, I had to shift my expectations. Like I had to sort of say like, this story, like this mangaka and this story isn't about it's not really about like the plot and certain things like that. Like it is in like in a very stretched out sort of sense. But I think like the mangaka just really enjoys like these like cases, right? Like with Detective Conan, like I think like as the story sort of progresses, like it definitely becomes more about like certain instances, like more about the cases and more about certain characters and things like that, as opposed to like, okay, like will this kid, will Jimmy Kudo ever or Shinichi or however however you want to call him, like will he ever like become like an adult again or whatever? Like that's not at the crux of the story. Because there's so many chapters where it's like little, like, it's like little, like Jimmy, like little Conan, so you kind of like, if you really vibe with the series and like you vibe with the series as a series that's about the cases, then it's awesome. But if you're like, yo, when is the series going to end? Then it becomes like really tough to like sit through like, 900 something chapters,
That's true, because some people are like that with One Piece. But like for me, when I usually drop something, I usually drop it in the beginning. Like with the first few chapters of a manga or the first few episodes, like 5 episodes of anime, I usually, if I don't like something, I'm not vibing with it right there, then that's kind of all it takes. I usually don't pick things back up like after I drop them.
Quail, you still kind of like
it's a little choppy.
Nigga world.
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm trying to move around because I'm connected to a Wi-Fi right now.
You gotta let me know how you got President Mike's quirk, bro. Nah, that sucks, bro. I couldn't even hear your rebuttal, bro. That kind of kills the joke.
What was I gonna say? Oh, like what was it? So you were saying something in the chat, like like that, like this thing, like about with like YouTube channels that
Tom over here talking about chopsticks. That was crazy.
Yo, but like like when you're talking about like YouTube channels that kind of like they only do like certain series, and they just like they either they fall off or they're just not particularly interesting, because it's like, especially when it comes to like people that are like, what, I'm only gonna review One Piece, and I'm like, yo, you like, it's not even that you're gonna have a hard time getting some sort of name. It's that it's gonna be extremely hard to maintain.
If you specialize in only one series, you gotta come hard out the gate. You better know all the characters' names, what chapters had what type of shading. You better know everything, bro.
Yo.
That's facts. I know for me, like someone reviewing like to like have more knowledge than I could ever know about a series, and then not just react to everything or just BS most of the reviews. Like or like OV or Rago or something, like I want them to like know a lot more stuff to where even if they just saying stuff I don't agree with, I at least know in my mind, okay, I know this person knows what they're talking about. Okay, this is interesting. Not just someone who's just like who does like a DBS review and just reacts to just every little thing. Just look what happened with this, or look what this episode, or with how Dragon Ball Super is. Just do a whole video off of spoilers, which is to me is trash. But that's another story, another conversation. But yeah.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I think that kind of like bothered me definitely. Like, I think like when like and again, like, you know, bigger YouTubers, you know, kind of do that. Like they'll, you know, what was it? There were like two sort of instances, right? One was right when Sawyer did that Bleach video when it ended, and he hadn't been talking about Bleach for like like a year or something like that. I don't know how long it had been since he had talked about Bleach, but it was like clearly like, oh, let's talk about Bleach series has ended. Let's talk about it. Let's make some money off this video. Like, it's just like, you know, stuff like that is like leaves like kind of like not a bad taste in my mouth, but it's just like
A lot of the YouTubers just do it for views. Like a lot of these guys will like start reading a series and they'll drop it just because other people aren't enjoying the series as much as they are. The whole point of you reviewing the series is to bring awareness. Like honestly, when I do my channel, bro, I'm not just gonna review what's popular. I'm reviewing a whole bunch of series that people don't even know about. You guys know about a series called Okiko Furikabute?
What's
Yeah,
that? What's
no, yeah, no.
It's a baseball manga. By Higuchi Asa. She's one of the very few like female mangaka, and it's on hiatus until February 25th. Because she's in her second pregnancy.
Okay.
Like stuff like that. Like if you really care, bro, like that's the type of information you'll know. And you once you start reviewing a series, you can't just drop it because it doesn't get views or it gets dislikes. You're supposed to promote the series that you love. That's why you do this, right? If you don't do it for that reason, then why are you doing it in the first place?
Yep. Like there's gotta be, you know, there's gotta be something like that comes from like you know, like the gut and the heart and all those, you know, all those things. Like you know, at least for like, but okay, like when I started this channel, you know, it sort of just started as like, yo, like I was still in my doctoral program. I was like, you know, I was pretty depressed. Like my I was pretty depressed. Like, and my fiance had just had like surgery, so I was taking care of her. You know, so it was just, you know, it was like, and you know, and she was working through that, and it was just hard watching her work through that, you know, and like everything was just like hard. So I said, you know what, I really like, and like, you know, obviously like my fiance was one of like, you know, she was, you know, both like something that I was like, man, she's like really struggling, but you know, she's also like, you know, probably the best thing in my life, but also like manga was like one of those things I was like, yo, I still loved reading manga. I still loved, you know, doing all that stuff. So I was like, you know what, let me start a YouTube channel and like talk to some people about manga and like try to, you know, get that started. And that was like one of the best things that I've ever done, like in terms of like starting something. Maybe the best thing that I've ever done, other than get into, you know, start my relationship, right? But like it was like I could read these series, I could talk about them, I could like, you know, put certain things out there, you know, and like I could like, you know, like the Promised Neverland, like One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, like certain, you know, My Hero Academia, like certain series like that. And then what I realized was like, yo, like I can like use this channel to do whatever I want. So then I just said, you know what, at some point I was like, I'm gonna do all these different kind of videos, but I'm also just gonna read the manga that I want to read. Like I love like every manga that I have on this channel that I'm currently reading, I really like you know what I mean? Like it's like I like, or I'm just genuinely interested in reading. Like I just have like a list. Like I just have like this, like I don't know where my book is, but I just have like, well, it's probably somewhere else. But like I just have like a list of you know, and it's like little yellow book. This is a list of manga that I just read. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna do this for a stream. I'm gonna do that for a stream. I'm gonna like, I want people to like be a part of that because like people got to know like one, I love reading manga. It's why like you'll never see me react to like anime, and I had to change that up because it was like I was watching some of these anime and I was like, and then I just started dropping them, even though the manga variants were phenomenal. Like the manga for Welcome to the Ballroom.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people reviewing that, man. Like it looks fun, but I don't know if I would like watch like a series about ballroom dancing. But I just haven't given it a chance, honestly.
Yeah, it's like the anime is cool for what it is, but like the manga though, like the art, like the fluidity, the panels, like everything is just like, you know, it's sharper. There isn't as much like ridiculous like ichi moments or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, and like, you know, there's like certain, and it's just really, it's just a strong manga. Like, I mean, I've had discussions with people about like, you know, certain topics in terms of like gender and sexuality and all that stuff. Like, I've had conversations about that with other people, but like, I still recommend the manga because I think like it's just a beautiful manga. It's just a really cool manga. Like, it does a great job at like showcasing certain things.
I mean, honestly, it depends how it's done. Execution is everything.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like I'm not homophobic or anything, bro. I'm sitting here talking to you, and like Hisoka is one of my favorite characters from Hunter x Hunter. But execution is everything. Like, you have to understand that sometimes people aren't going to support something. It's not because the characters are gay. It's more so because of the execution. If you can't relate to a story or a certain narrative, you're not going to read it. That's just what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah. I also like what I try to do is like, you know, I always try to tell people like, read a few chapters. And when I say a few chapters, I just mean like read like you know 2 chapters. And I say and usually I say 2 chapters because one, you know, chapter 1 is always like, you know, two chapters, right? Because it's always like, you know, 40 something pages or 50 something pages or whatever long. So I always tell people, you know, read the first chapter and the second chapter, and if you're like, you know, if you're not vibing with it, and you feel like you want to drop it, like I'll never get on somebody for dropping the series because I'm like, yo, if you drop the series, because you definitely weren't feeling it, or like, you know, you felt like the story particularly wasn't for you, or you were actually falling asleep reading it. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you to read something that you fall asleep, you know, to while reading. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to keep reading that. So I do get like when people say when it's like execution is really important. But I always try to like push. I always try to like, you know, that's why I try to read as many series as possible, and I always try to suggest as many series as possible so that people have like the option of saying like, hey, you know, if you didn't like what's the story, like if you didn't like Yuri on Ice, like go read Piano no Morty. Maybe you'll like that. If you didn't like that, maybe you'll like Nodame Cantabile. You know what I mean? Like you can like there. I always try to give people options. Like I never try to say like you should read this one thing because it does this one thing and da da da. It's like, yo, if you don't like this music manga, go read that other music manga. If you don't like this other music manga, go read that other music manga. You know, like options are really important. I don't think a lot of people realize that. It's like, yeah, like I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about that.
But do you feel like most people won't support a series that has a gay main protagonist because like if you're straight, for example, you couldn't necessarily identify with that character because he's not necessarily like you? Like, do you feel like that's a thing?
I think that's the thing, but I also think that there are people who will tell themselves that it's that they can't identify with the character, but it's actually that it makes them uncomfortable. I will say that some people are just like genuinely like, yo, like this thing makes me uncomfortable, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry that it does, and I like, and it makes me kind of sad. But
I mean,
but,
Hisoka
you know,
didn't make me uncomfortable because the way that he was written out, Hisoka's badass.
No.
was badass.
No,
like,
but
the execution is everything.
To me, Circle was cool. Again, I probably read him all kind of different. I didn't think he was gay or anything. I just thought he was a perverted dude that just happens to like power. So like,
who Hisoka? Nah, bro, Hisoka was sus. Like,
Yeah.
if you go ahead and you go back to like the tower where Hisoka's fighting Gon, bro. Like he was telling Gon, he was like, we would make like a good match or like a good couple. And I don't hold that
Right.
against Hisoka, bro. That's just who he is, dog. But
That's
the
probably me.
differentiating factor is that Hisoka is badass. If Hisoka wasn't as badass, would you really support him? Think about it.
No, yeah. I mean, okay. So there's like, right. There's like, sometimes like implied. Go ahead. What happened?
I know. I was thinking about what you're saying. I just said depending on execution. Depending on how they wrote them out, it depends. So yeah, like you said, it's about execution.
Yeah, that's really what matters. Like other than that, like nothing else really is a determining factor.
Okay, so I'll say two things, right? Like one, there's like implied like sexualities and stuff like that. And then there's like, yo, this is a story about two, you know what I mean? Like this is a story about two gay men who are either who may be in love with each other or they're gonna start dating or whatever, right? And or to a woman or to a trans characters, right? Like there are things that where it's just like that's the thing, right? Like it's
shout outs to Orochimaru, the first trans character in any manga, bro.
You know, like Orochimaru. I don't even know. I don't even think he's trans. I think like
I mean, listen, he took over a woman's body. Orochimaru was rocking in a woman's body, dog, and it was a body transfer jutsu.
Nah, that's not trans though. I would say that's just like
he's different. He's just a dude that just happens. I was more like body snatching. He just happens to just take over a body and then he can go from being a male to female to whatever he wants to a little child. It depends on what body he just happens to have.
And it's like Orochimaru, like I'm not even sure where I would place Orochimaru, like because I like.
But you can kind of see where I'm coming from with that, right?
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, but
actually, no, I would say he's male. For him,
yeah.
I was like, for him, it's more so. You can't really say he's gender because he was a male, but in terms of the story, he happened to just possess bodies to keep himself more so immortal. So like it's more not like he wanted to be a female. Like if he had a choice to between a strong female, and a strong male, I don't know. Depending on what the powers were, he can go with either one. So it's not like he just wanted to be a female. It's more so.
Yeah, he was just chasing power.
Yeah. So like I can't say with him because it's more so he was more so power hungry. So it's like whoever had the power at the time, he was gonna take over their body.
You know, so like and I also think that like right, like I think you explained that like I agree, and I think that like people really aren't honest about their discomfort with series like that. Like for me, like I always tell people to go read Piano no Mori, but the reason like but like and it's a series that like it's an awesome series. I love that series. But I know, right? Like, and the same thing with like Yuri on Ice. I always tell people, like, go watch Yuri on Ice, man. Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that it doesn't make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but
like,
I think it's human nature, just because we as humans, we get uncomfortable by things that we don't understand, and that's human nature. That's what it is. That's one of the core concepts of being a human being.
You know, and it's like I don't know. I guess I just feel like, at some level, I just want people to be more honest. Like, cause some people like they'll like throw out an excuse, but it's like, yo, but like just be real. Like, if you're uncomfortable with this story, at the very least, you know what I mean? Like, at the very least, just like be honest about that. You know, because then it can be like,
I don't think I would be uncomfortable with a gay side character, but I would be more so uncomfortable if the story is revolved around a gay character. Because again, since that's not who I am, and since that's not the type of lifestyle that I live, I don't feel like I could necessarily, just connect with the character. Like,
well, yeah, I think with that, like, I always tell people, like, it's like will it happen like immediately? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, I think even when I was trying to like sort of figure out, my own like sexual preferences and stuff like that, and everything, like I still remember just like, you know, like and I always tell a story. Like I remember, what was it? There was I can't remember which manga it was. Man, I feel like maybe it wasn't even manga. Maybe it was an anime. No, it was an anime. Yu Yu Hakusho. Like the first time I like watched through Yu Yu Hakusho, and like that the relationship with between like Sensui and Itsuki, like that was like that was the first for me at least, that was the first time that I'd really experienced like a character that was like outright like yo like and we you know like that right that was like queer in the right in the sense that like he it was different, you know, and for me I was like, this is really cool. Like I think like I think I knew even then, and I was like in like high school at the time, I think. You know, so I don't know. I mean, and even at the beginning, I was kind of like, I don't know, like this is a little weird. Like I'm not sure. And then the more I like, you know, I sort of sat with it. I was like, the more I was like, yo, like this is actually really really great, and I really appreciate this, and I really like this. You know, so I think one thing I tried to sort of, you know, after a certain point, after I like, you know, kept asking questions about my own sexuality and stuff like that, then I would just sort of say, oh, now I have to actually like, you know, kind of look for stories that kind of do that. You know, so like Piano no Mori is a story that like isn't as explicit as like Yuri and Ice in terms of saying like, oh, like these you know, characters are gay or whatever, but it did something different. And I think like, I don't know, for me, like what it also did was that it showed that like friendships can be like, you can have like extremely close friendships with like between guys. And like it was like, you know, it was kind of like a gateway kind of manga, I guess. Like if you know, like there was there are manga where it's like that, like even Naruto, I think is a manga that's like that, where it's like it's extremely like Naruto and Sasuke are like, that's like an extremely close like homosocial relationship where they're like they know what the other is thinking without even speaking.
But I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
I wouldn't go as far to say as that like it's a homosexual relationship,
No,
because you can be two straight men and like have a really close bond.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I said like homosocial is like, you know, just like between two guys, like two people of the same like identifying sex, right? So like Naruto and Sasuke have a homosocial relationship, or like
But if you think about
Gon
it,
and
like,
Killua have a
why would we put that
right?
like, you know, like kind of like under a label? Isn't that just like really friendship? Wouldn't that fall under that umbrella?
No, because well, I mean, yes, but friendship is like a general thing, right? Like friendship is like, you know, any people, you know, anybody can be friends with anybody, right?
That's how because I mean, again, this is me. Like me and my boys, like for me, like I'm closer to some of my boys than others, but the thing is with us, like we all know what the other person's thinking, like know how the other person moves. So like for us, it's not anything different or new. We just know how we are. So just like with Sasuke, I feel like with Sasuke and Naruto, like as far as Naruto felt, I guess kind of felt for Sasuke more as a friend, but Sasuke didn't really care until the end. It didn't like Sasuke didn't really care about Naruto's feelings literally until the end of the series. That's when we started like I guess understand and feel. I guess understand where I guess that's what's coming from. I wouldn't say it was like a.
Oh no, sorry, Jordan. Go ahead and finish, bro. My bad.
I know I was pretty much done. Like, that was pretty much it.
And then like this goes back to the conversation that I was having before.
Is my mic still choppy?
Yo, you sound A1, bro. You got rid of that
quirk.
Oh
my god, you sound so clear. Wow.
You got rid of that quirk quick, fast, in a hurry.
I don't know what was going on because it's usually pretty good, but yeah.
Hey, you got the ear on me.
Hey, but it's like I was saying, like about, you know, like straight men being forced into like a certain box. Like if you know, if you show love to like a fellow straight man, or like, you know, like support, it's kind of like sus, or, you know, like you're giving like mad head. Like I'm guilty of it as well. Like, you know, of like calling people out on it, but I just don't think that you should be put in a box as far as friendship, because at that point you're just it's hard to like put it into words. I just feel like you're boxing straight males out to the point where you can't connect, and you're like kind of at odds, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah,
that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Like you can have like mutual respect for someone, and you could have like admiration for someone without there being any type of like any type of sexual attraction. You get me? Like you can have like great admiration, great respect, and really want to hang out with someone without having to have a sexual attraction to them. Is what I'm trying to say when I say they put us in a box.
I totally understand that. I think what I'm saying is like, what I'm saying is like, sort of stories like that and like relationships like that. For me, the way I see them is that like they allow people who might be uncomfortable with LGBTQ relationships. It's sort of like a step, back, right? It's like here's one step that you can take, right? Like if you're comfortable with that and you're comfortable with again, like I say homosocial because like, that's what you're talking about, right? Like you're talking about like relationships that are close between two people of the same, right? Of the same identifying sex, right? And like it's cool, right? And like if you can read a story where that's at the center of it, right? Then it allows you to sort of like move a bit more forward, right? And to sort of and to become comfortable, right? To have the possibility of becoming comfortable with a relationship like the two characters in Yuri on Ice. You know what I mean? It's like it's a progression, right? Like it's like no one's saying like, yo, today you gotta be totally comfortable. Like, cause that's not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, that's not realistic.
Yeah,
I'm saying like
it's boundary breaking is what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
So pretty much it's like
it builds understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, I say that pretty much for me, I say it's most like a thing of semantics. Then it's more so just how you view it, pretty much. Then I see you saying that, but so like for me, like I don't mind characters who are like straight, gay, trans, whatever. To me, it's just about what the story's about. Like one of the series I like reading is I hope I say it right. It's about again magic and powers and stuff. But the main character is in this semi homoerotic relationship with his best friend slash teammate, whatever. I don't know. It's
which
Magi the Labyrinth of Magic is what you talking about?
I don't know what it's called. It's called like Dulu Dalo. Let me look it up. Hold on.
I haven't read that either.
It's like DOULUO and then Dalu DALU.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Oh, I haven't read that.
It's it's a shonen. It's a shonen apparently, but yeah, like, it's about so like for me it's not. So for me, like I don't care about gender, whatever stuff. I just care about what it's about. Like for me, and I talked about this when you doing a string.
If the story is hard, you're more likely to read it, bro.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
This is a good story. The character you can get away with how the characters are. It doesn't like a good story. That's why a lot of people can overlook people who didn't think Shonen was gonna have a female protagonist can overlook that in The Promised Neverland because the story is so good. Aside from the fact that Emma is such a good character that you don't even want to like put her as like female character. Like just with these 70 chapters alone, she's just a great character. Like,
yeah,
period.
she's just a great MC.
But her being a female gives her extra traits though that some of our other shonen characters couldn't have. So which is why I personally like Emma a lot because of that. She has that soft side and she can show that.
See me, okay. I'm with you with that quality. For me, I judge Emma the same way I judge like the regular other shonen male characters. Like for me, I kind of have issues at times with her character because just like her personality. Like again, this is me judging her equally like everybody else. Like for me, like I kind of wanted to be a super savage. Again, this is gonna sound so wrong, but I kind of want to be the savage. Just go ahead and just take some L's to survive. Granted, that's just how I feel with a lot of like shonen characters like who want to save everybody. I'm more so a savage person in nature. So like for me, I'm like, go ahead, take an L, sacrifice somebody for the greater good. But that's just me. So like for me, like she's a great character, but I just have issues with her.
But I mean, honestly, don't you think that's what makes her a great character? That she doesn't follow like your same frame of mind. That's what I find interesting about Emma. The fact that she goes completely against what I believe I would do in that situation. Yeah, and that's why I like seeing her grow. Because she has to understand that she's not always going to be able to save everyone. And that's like something that her character tortures with. And that gives her character depth and character development and exposition.
Facts. That's what I like about her. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I just equal like with Luffy. Like I hate the fact that Luffy's airheaded, dumb, not say dumb, airhead sometimes and just rushes into things. Granted, he has had progression in this arc where he started to think more, but like I hate Luffy, to where he just rushes into things just without thinking about stuff, does stuff, which any any other character would probably kill his crew, but he happens to make it out and they figure it out.
Yo, you are the #1 Luffy hater, bro.
He is the number one.
#1 though.
I know this
Undisputed
thing.
fact.
I don't even try to hate that much, but it just happens to where I just have I don't know why, but I just happen to
But do you
just
feel like
like
it's
the
like?
curious.
Do you feel it's because the character is different from you? Do you feel like it's just because the character does things differently opposed to what you would do?
No, it's actually really the writing and portrayal. It's just again for me. I know with any shonen manga series that there's gonna be a lot of conveniences like Naruto, Bleach, My Hero, so on and so forth. I know there's conveniences,
Like if you watch
but
Haikyuu, bro, like I don't identify with Kageyama because I don't feel like I'm a genius. I
oh,
don't
I
identify with
identify.
Hinata. I don't identify with Hinata because I don't have the love that he has for like volleyball. But I identify with with Tsukishima, bro. Just because he's the
I
guy
identify
that
with.
lives in other people's shadows and he's always felt like he's subpar, but he can actually tangle with these other people. It's
I
different, bro.
identify so
That's
much
what
with. I
creates a
identify
verse, the diversity. If you
for
don't
me.
see other people's perspectives and you don't see what a other character brings to the table, kind of makes things boring if everyone's like you.
No, it's not even that. It's not even like me. It's just the right like with any sports manga, and this is where like for me, sports mangas I love to death because me like I played college basketball, so like I identify with pretty much every character as far as the one that lives under someone's shadow, the one that works hard, that loves the sport, even the genius. Because like I feel like I'm all three of those characters in one. Like I feel like again, I love basketball to death. I work hard at it. I'm smart at it. I know basketball in and out. Like I love that. Like so, like for me, any sports manga or anything that involves like even like boxing, like Ippo or mixed martial arts with the Baki series. Like I love it because I can like, identify with people wanting to work hard to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
When it comes to Luffy, and this is where like I guess my hate comes in, is the conveniences that's thrown in. Granted, and me and Quality go at this a lot.
Please
It's
don't
just
do
the
it. Don't
conveniences
start.
that I feel it's the conveniences that I feel he gets. Like, and then the thing is too, it's like the fans of Luffy will defend it. Not you for getting quiet, not you because you actually give reasons as to what happened. So like, I can't really argue with you because you actually back it up. But certain fans just might be able to either he's an MC or he has, or as Dustin says, that he rises to the occasion. So when I always bring up two instances. Dressrosa with Dofi, and then his fight against Crocodile. A lot of people won't forget that Luffy literally survived Crocodile by 3 drops of water. Like he literally was dead to rights, but then he happened to, luckily, thankfully, conveniently have 3 drops of water to him, and he just happens to survive and be good with that.
But you
He
say it's
did shoot those
convenient.
3 shots of water up in the air, though.
Yeah, you got your
Again,
crew again, bro.
but
Cocky levels too strong.
now what
But
you
I mean,
saying? Oh,
you could say it's plot, bro, but it's really not plot because if you think about it, dog, this can happen. Like things can happen. Luffy just happened to get lucky. And I mean, he's meant to be Pirate King. You're just seeing all of the events that transpired on his way to be Pirate King. So I personally can't say that it's plot because he survived because of the 3 drops of water. Any gripes that we have about the way that it's written out is all really on Oda. Sometimes Oda's a writer. Like you can't pretend that Oda's perfect. Oda is gonna be lazy from time to time. But I personally don't think that it's plot that's protecting Luffy. Because right now all you're doing is you're seeing the narrative of how he becomes Pirate King. And those are
and
the
that,
events that happen. He barely
and that's
managed to
cool.
survive and fight Crocodile again by 3 drops of water. It is what it is.
And that's cool. Again, you saying that, I respect that. But again, where I guess my hate comes in, where I have issues when you have Luffy fans twist the whole story and say that Luffy could have beat Crocodile without the conveniences. Or when, granted, again, this is it with Dofi. I feel differently about it, but I just say Luffy
That's
won the
not true
fight.
because Luffy says it himself. Luffy said it like the first two times that he lost to Crocodile, he said it himself. He said, "I need to figure out a way to beat this guy." He
Right.
understood that he completely and utterly lost. So it's the same with Enel. Under normal circumstances, Luffy would not have beaten these characters, and I'm sure that Luffy's like thankful that he managed to pull it out in these situations. But that's what makes the series exciting: the fact that he's fighting against the odds and he's not guaranteed to beat these guys.
No, right. Again. Sometimes that is more so the fans. This is where I have the issue with more so like the fans of Luffy than rather the story of Luffy. And that's where like, I guess it gets confused at to what I hate. It's not really just I hate Luffy. It's just I don't like the fans giving Luffy these feats and not put it in perspective. Like with Dofi. People can we can have an argument and say this and that, how Luffy won. But I always say, granted, this didn't have his whole head cannon. Luffy, to me, lost the fight against Dofi because, again, they fought evenly. Dofi had Gamma Knife, Luffy had fatigue, and that in the fight against Bellamy, that wore him down a little bit. So they're both, again, evenly fat match as far as damage and health goes. To me, Dofi wins. I feel Dofi was better because Luffy ran out of Gear 4 even after he blitzed Dofi, and Dofi was ready to kill everybody.
But don't you
Right in
agree
front of
that
him.
without the time limit, that Luffy is stronger than Doflamingo?
Yes, I will argue that. I will not argue that at all. But then for
Okay,
me,
so then
this,
I agree with you on everything that you said as long as you can admit that. Like
oh
Luffy
yeah,
is stronger than Doflamingo without the time limit. So
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
feel.
agree that Luffy shouldn't have beaten Doflamingo if it was a 1v1 with the current state of strength that he had. I agree 100%.
And right, for me, again, people don't understand. Like for me, again, Gear 4 of Luffy to me is to me a top, honestly, to me a top 13, 12, 11 character in the series. Like for me, Gear 4 of Luffy, if Luffy can have Gear 4 against Katakuri, I honestly believe even with Katakuri's future sight, I believe Gear 4 Luffy is either high diff in losing, or it's a high diff he wins. Even with categories like the donuts, even with awakening, I feel he actually beats categories. And again,
Wait,
All
wait,
that's me.
honestly, I
wait,
think
wait.
Luffy's
You
stronger than
said
Cat.
you, you
I
said
feel I feel
without your
I,
fourth?
I, no
No,
no
no,
saying
no,
with
that,
no saying
Oh,
saying
I
with
was like, whoa. Wait,
no.
no I said
wait.
so I was limited with Gear 4. I actually honestly believe Goofy is high different category, and this is honestly how I feel. I feel he's actually high different category.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
So,
physically,
I
granted,
Luffy
believe
is
that.
stronger than Katakuri. Luffy is doing more damage to Katakuri if he could connect. The problem is he
right.
can't connect, and that he has that time limit. Other than that, if he could connect without the time limit, Luffy is on par with Katakuri easily.
And this is facts. But then again, this is why I say the fans. This is where like again, Brago's Discord, even Justin Discord with a lot of Luffy fans. So and they always again they always mention that without Gear 4, Luffy can Luffy can actually my fault. Well, at the time when Luffy can still beat Katakuri, he can still beat Tofi, or when in the fight against Katakuri. A lot of people say, well, if Katakuri didn't have his future sight, Luffy will win. Well, if Luffy didn't have Gear
That's
4,
true.
he'd be dead. So that's why I don't never take away from I don't never take away from anybody's ability. I just go off what's given. And
No, no, no,
what's
you're right.
given and what Luffy has time limit. So that has to go into account. So just like people rage mode, will she lose or win? You can't take that you can't just have it one way with one current character, but then have it another way with this character. That's where
Yeah,
I
you
guess
can't
my
use excuses that are convenient for you. I get what you're saying.
that's why that's where my quote unquote hate comes in is because people like to give conveniences when it's actually good for their argument, not just for the entire scope of the story. That's what I don't like. Because people will say Whitebeard as an old dying man is losing to Big Mom or Kaido or Shanks, but then when you want to use it in context in the argument, then you want to say Whitebeard was the strongest person. He had the strongest fruit, he was the strongest man when it's useful for argument. So that's why I
I
don't
think
get it.
Prime Whitebeard is washing Big Mom. Prime Whitebeard easily.
Respect. I'm low key. This is me. I feel old darn Whitebeard watching Big Mom. This is me. Granted, I'm a Whitebeard. As you see in my thumbnail, I'm a Whitebeard. I'm a Whitebeard. A fanboy. I'm not apologetic about it. Again, I feel Whitebeard is the greatest thing that happened to One Piece to me. That's just me.
Hey, but
I love what that's again.
Hey, but
What's up?
BMC. Oh no, my bad, Jordan. BMC. I know you got like the go-to from your girl, bro. So if you gotta shut it down, just give us the go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's
Now,
let
what you call it?
us
What you
know.
call it? Nah, I just wanted to just give one last point. Like one thing, and this is mostly to like guys, and this is like, you know, like it's not me trying to say, oh, y'all trash, y'all never be nothing, y'all ain't, you know what I mean? None of them like that. It's more like, anytime, like for me, like it's important because I have a pretty significant amount of people of like of women that follow me on Twitter, like, you know, that like view the channel and stuff like that. And like every time I talk with them or we talk about the Promise Neverland or we talk about manga and stuff like that, the one thing that always comes up is how important it is, like, for them to see uh girls or women in these manga. Like it's huge for them. I think like that's something like I like you can't discount. Like it's
100%.
really important. So like when you're like, oh, you know, Emma's like a great character, it's like, nah, like you have to include,
The fact
right,
that
the
she's
fact that she's a girl. Like it's crucial. You know what I mean? Like I get, like, and yeah, like she's an awesome character, but like it's even better that she's a girl because it's important to other girls out there who are reading this manga, and it's important to women who are reading this manga, and they're like, yo, look, like this is someone that I actually really appreciate, that showcases qualities that I feel like I have, that makes me feel like I have value, that makes me feel like, you know, girls, like that girls in general have value, that women can have value. It's like, it's really important. And this is not just Emma, it's like other characters too, but like Emma is really, really important. You know what I mean? And to like even like, right, it's just like, I don't know, like if I could show you all of like the tweets and all of the messages and all of the conversations that I've had in like the past, like since I started the channel, like it's like a outpouring of just like, yo, this character is so important. Like it's like she's so important. There are people who are like, yo, name your 3 favorite female characters or whatever. You know, and this is like ever, right?
Oh, that's
And
easy.
like Emma,
That's easy.
and like,
That's easy for me.
you know what I mean? And like Emma's like consistently there. You know, like that's like really important. That's like GOAT status. You know what I mean? Like, and this
Way
is
better
why,
than software.
you know, like that's why whenever I talk to people and I'm like, yo, Emma's like, Emma might be the best, like one of the best, like at least top 3, at least, like in Jump, right? And the Weekly Shonen Jump, like top 3, like did like no question, like of the best protagonists in Weekly Shonen Jump, like easily, like she's that important, like she has that much impact, you know. So like that's why I always tell people, I'm like, yo, like you can't sleep on that because it's important, like, you know, for inclusion, for representation, but especially for representation. It's like women love seeing, like women want to see themselves in these characters, and one of the ways that happens is if the characters are, you know, identify as like and are like women, right? Like or girls. Like it's an important thing. That's, I just kind of wanted to end with that because I think, like, you know, sometimes, like, I don't talk about y'all or anything like that, but it's like, you know, sometimes like people tend to forget about that. You know, when I see people talk, like, sort of discuss Promise Neverland, and it's like, yo, it's really important to a lot of the women that I talk to, and a lot of you know, some of the girls who, like, you know, are
But I
like
think
maybe,
accurate
you know?
representation for any type of demographic is important in anime
Oh
and
yeah,
manga.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one of the reasons why I
That's
liked
huge.
Hunter x Hunter, just because it's one of the few manga that accurately displayed a black character. Canary, yo,
Yo, Canary
Canary's
is,
hair was
yo.
nappy, dog. She had a wide nose, big lips. I was loving it.
Yeah, I will say, like, yeah, like the fact that she was black, like that
Not
was
just
like,
that, but it wasn't like, you know, like black with like cut hair. Like she literally
oh,
had.
it wasn't like trying to think of a character that's like, uh, you know, it wasn't like something ridiculous like Mr. Popo or something like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
was
yeah. Like that's
accurate
ridiculous.
representation. Mr. Popo's disgusting.
Oh, like, man, hey,
Like
yo,
for me, I love B. For me, I love B. Naruto. I like them
oh, B, yeah, yeah.
because B is like,
Yeah, B is dope.
Because B is like a lot of my home. B is like a lot of my homeboys, just real laid back dudes that actually like to just freestyle all day for no reason. Like, those my boys. I love B.
Yeah, accurate
Hey, I love
representation
B
for
real
any
fast.
demographic is important in anime and manga because if we want anime and manga to be around in the long run, there has to be accurate representation because more people will identify with it and they'll support it.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, like yo, I don't, yeah, Canary is like one of those characters that like is it's important. Like women want to see characters like Canary. They want to see characters that like are super, like are incredibly strong and like have morals and like all that stuff. They want to see all that stuff and like aren't like ridiculous like blackface or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, they want to see that stuff. It's important. Shout out to Canary.
Canary the goat.
But yeah. But yo, this stream is awesome because I definitely got to get to bed because I got so many things to do tomorrow. Oh my
I got
goodness.
work in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta.
I got work at 6 in the afternoon. I'm gonna play going to work tomorrow.
Oh no, bro! I gotta be up at like 6:45.
Oh man, I mean usually
I gotta be at the job at 6:45. Man, so I gotta wake up like
man.
6.
Yeah, usually I have to.
I'm good.
Wait, what happened, Jordan?
I gotta be here till 6 at night. It's 6 p.m. So I'm gonna be up all night probably.
Okay.
Blessed.
I am.
Man.
I enjoy my shift. I enjoy my job. I hate my job. I hate it, but I enjoy my shift because it's very convenient.
I like my job, dog. Like it's chill. Like I don't have no customer service. I don't gotta kiss ass, bro. Like you just. Oh, I'm sorry for the language. Like you just gotta.
That's cool.
you go in there, you get your job done, and you're out on time, bro. That's what I like. You go there, you put in work, and you got a good day's work. You get paid, you go home. That's what I like.
I got to deal with grown people crying about alarm systems. So
yeah,
I realize my job is
babysitting grown folk.
have me realize it's not even that. My job is like have me realize that people are dumb, and I've lost a lot of faith in humanity because of my job, which is sad because of common sense.
It's tough. I mean, when I was doing like all my supermarket stuff, it was like
trash.
You know what I mean? Just like
trash.
Man, just so many and it was like, I mean, I got lucky because I never had to do cashier work ever. I was like, yo, like I always tell people, I'm like, yo, that job was still annoying at times, but I never had to work the cashier, and that I feel blessed for that because that's such a hard job, yo. Like the job itself, like in terms of like like doing this, like doing certain things, like in terms of like count change, that stuff's easy. But like when it comes to the interaction with customers and like dealing with all the nonsense, like cashiers have it the worst.
Especially like, the people with the expired coupons.
Yep, and they be standing there for like 20 minutes trying to argue with the cashier. Then they're gonna spend another 20 minutes arguing with the manager. I'm like, get out of here with that stuff, man. Like I don't know. I don't know, man. If I was a cashier, I'd be tight. Like I would have gotten fired numerous times. If I was doing cashier work at the supermarkets that I worked at, I would have been fired numerous times.
Customer service sucks.
Yo, it's right. It's like you gotta have like I wasn't there yet. I didn't have like the personality to like keep calm when somebody was coming at me. Like if somebody was coming at me, I was like, yo, you need to step back. Let's not do this. Like, nah, we're not doing this over here. We're not doing this. You're not gonna make me lose my job because we fighting or whatever.
You can miss me with that BS.
Yeah, miss me with that. Nah, get out of here. So it took a lot. Like, so I would like I did my frozen food stuff, I did my dairy stuff, I did my, groceries. Like I was doing that stuff, and I could just be in the aisle, chilling, packing out, scanning items, ordering stuff, doing an order, all that. I could just do all that stuff and deal with the customers in the way that I like, had to deal with the customers. You know what I mean? Like, but cashiers have to deal with almost everybody.
That's why I love my job, man. Because after like, I really don't do anything with just watching TV videos or watch movies. Like, I'm busy for literally just probably 4 hours on my shift. And after that, the next 6, I just literally just lost my shift. I might get a call every 10, 15 minutes, maybe. Killing. So that's why, like, I'm glad I have my job because it's easy. It's just that 4-5 hour window is annoying.
Hey, you know what other job is trash? Working at McDonald's or fast food, garbage.
Oh.
Don't remind me, man, bro.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, man. I'll throw you a chicken.
Having to deal with people at all is horrible.
It's tough. I like, and the neighborhood is also really important. Like, and this is honest. Like, I was like when like certain neighborhoods, right? And like, and this is more like a class thing, more than anything else, right? Like when you, well, sometimes it deals with, sometimes it deals with race, but like class is like particular, right? Because you're in a place where you're buying things and stuff like that. So, money is like a thing. But like the one neighborhood I was working in was like, bougie. It was like a bougie, like Jewish neighborhood, and it was like, so I deal with different things. Like I deal with like people who kind of like sometimes they'd assume that I didn't know what I was doing, or sometimes it was like a race thing, sometimes it was a class thing where they'd be like, oh, this guy, he's doing his job, I don't need to respect him, I could talk to him in a certain way, blah 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 or whatever, or they question my knowledge on like the product in my section. I'm like, yo, like I'm a frozen food manager. Like if you have a question about frozen food, like you have to come to me.
I'm the guy.
Like I'm the guy. Like so who are you to come to me talking about, oh, this ice cream isn't the right price? Like do you work here? Like did you talk to the manager? Did you have like a meeting at some point? Did I not know about this? Like get out of here with that. So stuff like that used to piss me off. Yeah.
Funny, dog.
It's ridiculous, man. And then like
got the whole frozen area on lock.
And then like you have, let's say you're in a different neighborhood, and like so like I was working in a Modell's. That was my first job. I was working in a Modell's, and what was it Jamaica Avenue, like Jamaica Avenue in New York City, in Queens, and like it was just totally different because like you're dealing with customers who like they try to be on your level, but it's like the difference is like they also kind of respect you, but like they'll try to pull one over you in different ways. It's like sometimes I have customers that I actually knew. They try to be, like, yo, could I get a discount on them sneakers? Yo, could you hook me up? Could you do that? I'm like, get out of here. I'm not trying to lose my job, man. Beat it. You know what I mean? So stuff like you have to deal with stuff like that, or you deal with like,
sometimes they're just nice to you to see what they can get out of you in the first place.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They'd be like, yo, could you like lower the price? Yo, could you like, could you try to lower the price maybe? Could I get to like, I know it's $20 off, but I'm like, come on, man, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
You know how we are.
Yo, it kills me when people actually lower the price when you work at a store.
Yeah,
you have no control over the prices.
Exactly, bro.
Hey, yo, let me get that family discount, bro.
Yo, facts.
Come on, man. Get out of here with that.
Or when they be like, bro, you should just let me get this for free, man. It's not like it's yours, right? It's like, bro, but what about my job, though?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Like,
I let you get one thing for free, and then I can't eat for a week. Check yourself.
Exactly. So you get discount. So you realize the discount only goes to me. Like my manager's there, and then like they know I can't get somebody else but me.
Yep. Yo, and
I work for you personally.
It's tough. It's tough. You really gotta, and we kind of talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the stream, where like you have to like really, you gotta know what your place is, like especially when you're working in like retail, food service, stuff like that. You really gotta like you gotta more than anything, you gotta be in line in certain ways. Like you can't, there's just certain things you can't do because you be gone. And the unions like, they're helpful for certain things. Like I will never say that there should not be unions, but what I will say is that like when it comes to like, defending you over particular things, unions.
Yeah, they go to bat for you.
like they will until like it's
yeah,
right? Like they'll go to bat for you over stuff that they'll be like, oh, okay, we got this. But if it's something then they're like, I don't know, you kind of got loud with this person, they'll be like, they all of a sudden they like like they're not trying to help you. You know what I mean? So it's like certain things.
I got softer.
Yeah, like union reps. Union reps are making me laugh, but like not all union reps, but just like particularly like retail, like food service stuff like that. Union reps be funny because they just be like you either have like the union rep that's like all about like super progressive, radical, want to like make sure you get everything that you deserve, and they're super helpful. They like really help you out. They'll help you figure out how to make more money, how to ask for like a raise, certain things like that. But then they'll have like the ones who were just union reps because they want the title and they want to walk around and be like, yo man, I'll help you out. Like, I got you. I'm sitting straight. They don't want to do much. They just want to be the union rep, like go to like some meetings, say a few things about the rules and like, the contract dispute that's going on at any given time. But then when you really need their help, they know where to be found.
It's just like the car insurance companies. They all good and dandy taking your money, but when it's time to pay out, they don't.
Yep.
Boy.
All right, I'm gonna end the stream here because I definitely gotta get to bed. It's midnight.
Same. Thanks for having us, bro.
Nah, yo,
Thanks for having us.
No problem. And like I said, quietly, like whenever I like this week is just like this is a busy week for me. But once next week, like I'll be like my schedule will be better. Because like this week I had to sort of take off work just because I had to deal with all these windows in the apartment, and I had to make sure that like everything was moved around so that these people can come in and switch the windows. Like they're literally taking out the old windows that are up in this apartment and like switching them with new windows. So they're gonna take the whole day Friday to do that. So I just have to like make sure that like my cats, our cats are like brought to the vet so they can stay there for the day. It's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff.
All right.
But next week I'm gonna be golden.
Neverland discussion next week.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna
I need to get in one of those, man. The Neverland discussion.
We need you there, bro.
Facts. We're gonna do that Monday. Monday will if not Monday, then definitely Tuesday. Because Monday is like a lot. Because I definitely read a bunch of manga. I'm trying to get back to doing reviews, like separately. But it should be better like next week because I'll have time. My schedule will be back to like being what it was. So I'm gonna do reviews and like live reactions for Weekly Shonen Jump, and then Tuesday.
What chapter did you leave off on on Kingdom?
Kingdom. Let me check.
Oh yeah, and quietly, everything you heard today about me and Luffy, you're gonna hear.
Yeah, all
right. Hey, just remember, man, this is recorded and it's on the internet, so your haterism is forever out there.
Hold on, let me check out. Let me check out my playlist. That's funny.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm
Kingdom, where you at?
Bam, your nickname in the Discord is MC Hater, bro. Just come on,
bro.
I left off, I left off at chapter 243.
Oh, okay. So you like 20 chapters away from like the best arc ever.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a stream where I do the 20 chapters. That's gonna be Friday. So Friday I just have a long stream.
Once you get to 263, you're not gonna want to stop. So I'm gonna have to, man. I'm gonna have to because I can't. I'm telling you, you're not gonna want to stop, man.
I'm telling you,
Yo, you guys feel like the One Piece community is like the community that's like mainly the most cancerous? Because if you go to the other communities like Kingdom, you don't see that, bro.
That's true. You really don't see that in Kingdom.
I don't know what it is about One Piece, but people like it. I don't know if it's like just passion, but I feel like a lot of people are just cancerous, dog. Like they just want to be cancerous to be cancerous.
The only character thing I've seen Ocean. That's like the only thing that I guess you could say is quote unquote cancerous, but
Or Hecky, bro. Hecky is so funny.
Oh, so yeah.
Yo, Hecky,
actually,
poor Hecky. I mean, like, just where I'm at,
Hecky,
like.
I would say that Hecky, say, but the God. I was gonna say that the God. This song was scored for BMC, the God.
Yeah, bro. Shout outs to you, dog. Keep on grinding, bro. You hit 1K soon.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep making videos. I'm gonna keep putting out content. I'm gonna keep, that's why I try to make sure that I had a schedule. I wanted like this week is just a weird week. I'm still gonna put out the reactions to the videos that I said I'm going to put out. So I'm definitely gonna do an Oyasumi Poon Poon reaction tomorrow because I was supposed to do that today, but I was like, let me just do a stream where I like talk to people about stuff. And so I'm gonna do that. Hold on, stop that. One of my cats is being ridiculous. I'm gonna do that stream tomorrow at some point, and I think tomorrow I also have like another two manga that I'm gonna be reacting to as well. So I'm gonna try to do those tomorrow, and then just and then Kingdom, and then the Kingdom stream is gonna be on Friday, but that's gonna be like Friday night, I believe, Friday night. Because that is going to be an all-day thing with these people coming in and like doing windows and stuff. So I'm going to do the Kingdom stream like Friday night.
You'll be still doing the Kingdom stream the next day after you get to the
no, I might just because that's though because the Kingdom stream is different, right? Because there's so many chapters for that manga. Most of the the other manga that I'm doing every like weekday and weekend day, like they're relatively short. They're relatively short. Like most of them are like 200 less. I think they're like 200 chapters or fewer. So Kingdom, if I want to do a Kingdom stream like on Saturday as well, I could. But the problem is I won't be able to do a Saturday because I have like this like tutoring like interview thing where I got to do certain things. So I got to kind of prepare for that. So
yeah, I think Kingdom takes longer to read because it's very content heavy. Like even the pages, it's always a lot of information.
Yeah. So like usually the streams like tend to be like at least 2 hours. But I try to read faster. You
might have to do another definitive schedule video, man. You might have to get another one out, bro.
Another definitive Kingdom video, you mean?
No, like definitive schedule of the stuff you're gonna review. Because watch, once you put Kingdom into that schedule, it's gonna throw it out of whack.
Kingdom.
Like a stream by schedule.
Well, no, I mean like with the schedule I have now, like I have a video on where I like sort of talk about all the manga that I'm going to be reviewing. So I have that up. The problem is this week is just like threw some things out of whack. So every manga that I was supposed to do, like I've been doing it like a day late. So today I did like Yona of the Dawn, but I was supposed to do that yesterday. So I got to do Oyasumi Poon Poon tomorrow, even though I was supposed to do that today. So it's just weird. It's a little out of whack. But once next week starts, like Sunday, I'll be fine.
Hey, but BMC, bro, thank you for having me, dog. Cause I gotta drop off right now.
Nah, yeah, I gotta go too, man. It's already 12 like something. I gotta go to bed. What were you gonna say, Jordan?
Thanks for having us. I'm gonna say once you get to the God, I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right, I'm looking forward to this. Yo, so far, my favorite character. My favorite character is definitely Kyokai, but it's a tie. I would say it's a tie. It's a tie between Kyokai and Riboku. Riboku, man, when he was introduced, I was like, bruh, that was like
so much. That's how I know I like him because I hate him so much. He's so smart, bro.
Yo, I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like when I saw that, I was like, yo, this dude legit went against Oki and just like, even Oki was like, yo, he was like, yo. Riboku. So I got a shout out to Riboku.
Better than the God.
Yep.
Better than the God. I'm gonna leave it at that. He's better than the God.
All right. Oh man. All right. So I'm gonna end stream here. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming through. Shout out.
Even though it took me all the way to the end to get my internet right. Well, actually, I managed to get it on my phone. That's how I usually stream. I jump into streams. I used to never be able to get your link on my phone, but I was able to do it. I don't know how. I tried it on my laptop. That shit wasn't working.
That's weird.
It's opposite. Like for BMC, like his links, I gotta go through my laptop. But for like Dustin, I go through my phone.
I'll figure that out. I'll ask Dustin what that's about.
I had to. All I did was join Hangouts, and I saw for some reason my Hangouts already had you up there, Jordan, and it just let me join this call. I don't know how, but I was like, "Oh, all right," because the laptop I got is like I got an old ass laptop, so that's why when I was on there, that shit was cutting up. Because I was like, I know my internet is like usually lit, like it's lit. I'm usually on here all the time, and I'm pretty clear. But I was like, it must be because I'm on this fucking laptop. Let me try my phone again. Shit just worked out. I don't know.
All right. But yo, there can be more streams. Definitely.
Yeah, I need to happen the next Promise Neverland one because I keep missing the discussions and I haven't been able to talk to a lot of people because a lot of people still not on it yet, really.
Yeah, yo, you'll see when they get on it, they're gonna be like, oh, I've been on it since but I wasn't reviewing it because I'm like, come on. It's like if you're reading it, just you don't have to edit no, but you could just put out the video. I mean, some may like I can understand like Joy because Joy is all about like, he doesn't do like live like reactions or anything like that or whatever. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. I kind of get that. But even still, it's like, yo, Joe Boy, let's go. Where's the content?
He did a video. He did a Promise Neverland video telling everybody that they should go and read this new manga that he just found out about. That he said he knew other people was on it too, but he just got a chance to read it, and he was like he did a video talking about. He was saying he might end up covering it in the future, but he was just talking about how it's like such a great read, and it really is.
All right, I don't know, maybe in the future, if he wants to talk about.
Because really, the only person I see really consistently reviewing is you and Dustin. Really, I think they're the only two.
Yeah, there are other people that do. There are a few other YouTubers. Madison, 100% Madison. Obviously, you heard Scott Report also. He's pretty consistent. Yeah. He does that.
I've heard of Madison too. I think that's the one that she's in that Worst Generation, right? I think with Dustin and all of. I think that's how I heard her name.
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna see if I can do a collab with those two as well. I'm gonna try to get them into like a Promise Neverland discussion. I'm of course y'all are definitely invited to that because I can have 10 people in the chat and the hangouts at the same time. So I'm gonna say like, okay, like here, like for like not big names, but you know what I mean. There's like like Dustin, 100% Madison.
It makes sense to people with
like,
subs.
But even then, like if just Dustin and 100% Madison wanted to come through, and they were just the only two, and then the other 8 could just be people who wanted to come through, I'd be chill with that because don't matter to me. It's like so long as you want to talk about the stuff, ain't nobody ain't nobody like it's like I just provide the space. You know what I mean? Like that's it. So anybody else wants to come through? I'm probably gonna have one on Monday. So I'm gonna definitely have a Promise Neverland discussion stream on Monday.
Because the chapter comes out on Fridays, right? I always be getting my days mixed up. Is it Thursdays or Fridays that the new Promised Land comes out?
Neverland usually comes out Thursdays. Usually comes out Friday, actually. Usually comes out the manga come out Friday. But what happens is like I read the Viz stuff, so I always wait till Monday to read all the the manga. So that's why like I tend to just like kind of avoid the conversations that are going on because I'm not trying to get spoiled.
Oh, okay, I get you. That's actually pretty good to do. When people were saying that they was trying to switch to Monday for the official release, I thought it was a good idea. The only thing is that people could still just read the scanlations and then wait until Monday for everybody's reviews and reactions. They'll still have read it illegally anyway. So, wait.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't tell people like, yo, like, don't read those scans. Even though I believe like, yeah, like if you can afford it, just go buy that subscription for weekly show on Jump. But I understand that people do go to manga stream for like other manga, like I try to make sure that like if there's like a series that I want to read, but I can also buy, then I do. But sometimes like there are series that just are not published in America and they're not translated. At some point I'm gonna have to learn Japanese so I can read all of it. But
I used to feel like that too.
Bro,
at some point I have to.
Fact, bro.
But that'll be when like I'm set. I'm making that money.
But the thing is though, it's not that much really to really pay for this for like manga and anime. Honestly, I mean I've had a subscription to Crunchyroll for like 4 or 5 years. It's like $6 out your account per month. Like you don't even realize it's less than Netflix, and it's
No,
a
yeah,
ton of anime. And then
yeah.
even with Weekly Shonen Jump, I think it's like $25 or 20 something dollars for the whole
Whole
year.
year.
It's not a lot.
It's like cents.
And like because of the way I read, I like to read. I read the scans on Thursday or Friday for like One Piece, but then on Monday I also go to Viz and I read the official translation too because I have the Viz, and also sometimes you might have clarification on some of the events that happen. It definitely is benefits into reading the official translation. It's a lot of
Facts.
benefits.
Facts. Like I'm gonna see if I can get as many, not too many people. Like I'm gonna contact Madison. I'm gonna contact Dustin. I'm most talking to, so I'm gonna contact Dustin. I'm gonna contact Sunpatch also reviews, but sometimes she'll be behind. I think she's very busy now because she's got like exams or whatever. But when she's like, I'm gonna ask her like, when you're free, like, can you like, would you want to join like a stream or something like that? So I'll try to see if she's like down for that. And then I think Madison, Sunpatch, Dustin. In terms of just like YouTubers, Joy Boy, he's probably not gonna like. I don't know if he'd be down for that or nothing like that. I think like one time I kind of got at him because he got a Dustin. So I haven't, you know what I mean? Yeah. I got on him and I was like, I don't know if I need to like, I was like, but I'm not one to like hold grudges, especially if it's just like if I know like, I was just defending Dustin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I'm defending Dustin and I'm like, because I felt like, someone was treating him a certain, type of way, and it clearly like I felt like, it's like, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. Then that's it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to Joe Bear at some point, or I'll try, and then see if he wants to like join a discussion stream, like maybe like in February, something like that. When like we've gotten more manga.
For people that's caught up, right? You talking about general discussion or just Promise Neverland discussion?
It'll be Promise Neverland discussion. General discussion. I'm not trying to do that because it'll probably turn into like a One Piece discussion. But I'd like to see that, but if Joy could do a general discussion where we talk about One Piece, My Hero Academia, Academia, and The Promised Neverland, that'd be pretty dope. Like that'd be something that I'd be willing to set up. Like it'd be like Dustin, myself.
Are you caught up to My Hero too? You are, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I just don't have as many My Hero streams, because like, I know a bunch of people that do that. Like Dustin does that. Orpheus does that. And they like, and I like, hopping into their streams like when I can. I haven't done it lately because they've been doing it on Fridays, but I don't know. Maybe I'll set something like that up. I might set that up.
Kingdom stopped me from catching up to My Hero because I was only gonna do anime only for My Hero, but then I just started reading too much manga. I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. But then I started reading Kingdom, and I started reading Kingdom from the beginning. So now I'm on chapter like 470. So I'm actually almost all the way caught up, and it's been an amazing ride. Got to say that Kingdom has been great.
Yeah, so far Kingdom has been phenomenal.
Right, everybody.
That's the one thing character you might not hate. Is Shin.
Listen. Let's say I don't care for Shin, but I don't hate Shin.
Damn.
I bet that. I do agree with you.
So you rock with Emma though, right? From The Promised Neverland. She has to be.
Well, yeah, Emma cool. Again, I want her to be more savage, but I work with Emma.
Man, she's savage enough. She's honestly savage enough.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want her to be savage. I want her to be savage like a certain character in Kingdom.
I mean, she can't be though physically, and like she's up against demons. Like she literally, if she goes out there and tries to be a savage, that's the end of the show, man. That's the end of the series.
I know. Not physically. I mean, like mentally, like how statistics. That's what I meant by savage.
I feel like it'll take her years, honestly. Like the way that the no name man and Lucas was barely surviving, and they're adults. So it's gonna take her a while before she's up to snuff. I feel like.
I think like she'll get there. She'll get there.
She'll definitely get there.
The way the story's going, she would definitely get there. All right, I'm gonna end the stream here because I definitely gotta get to bed. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to Quietly Loud, Jordan, What was
Sombra, My Revenge.
Sombra. Yo, shouts out to all y'all. This is awesome. All right. I am the Black Manga Critic. All right, and I am going to sleep.